So I want to make sure that we're all on the same page. But, a lot of the people are talking about, still hating on Marsha Blackburn. They're going to say that she got a plurality of the vote, meaning she only got, she did get more votes than any other candidate, but she did not necessarily get more than 50% of the votes cast. And so there's going to be people that are going to say, well, she didn't really win the majority. And I get that. There's going to be the people out there that are going to say that. But total number of votes cast, just in case you're curious, because people were asking me last night at the event, this is what I have. Marsha Blackburn got 311,065 votes. John Rose got 235,433 votes, and Monty Fritz got 167,944 votes. So none of this really surprises me. As a matter of fact, we did, during the event last night at Hop Springs, we actually had our predictions, and my prediction was actually pretty close. So the other than Blackburn vote totals, 403,377. So that is John Rose and Monty Fritz. Those total, other than Blackburn votes, 403,377. Compare that to her numbers of 311,065. So now the question is, where will those Rose and Fritz voters go? Well, Marsha Blackburn, she was obviously last night, she was talking up her win and talking about what is next.
Thank you, Tennessee. And absolutely, I am so honored, humbled, grateful to accept your Republican nomination for the office of Governor of the state of Tennessee.
Yes, very excited she was, obviously, and a lot of the people in the room also excited. So when you ask the question, and by the way, go ahead and if you would, take the Daily Dan poll, which is on YouTube. Like and subscribe on YouTube. And Joan, the question is as follows. John Rose and Monty Fritz voters, will you support Marsha Blackburn in the general after last night's primary here in the state of Tennessee? So that is the question. I would love to know what people have to say about it. For Marsha Blackburn last night, she actually did indeed ask for the support of their supporters.
So to anyone who is watching this and supported another candidate, I invite you, come join our team.
So far, we posted it a few minutes ago, Sam. Do we have any numbers as of yet? Or I know it's early. It's 5:10. I'm already, Joan, asking people to do a poll. You just posted it.
Yeah.
Joan, well, I'll take a poll of you two because you guys were both.
It's a silly question, of course.
Oh, it's not a silly question based on the people that I talked to last night.
Yeah.
There were people last night who were angry. And there was one woman that were saying there were some hijinks and shenanigans going on. That's what she said. I didn't pay any attention, whatever. But, yeah, so.
No, you have to. Like, as much as it's going to, I guess, irritate me to cast my vote for Marsha Blackburn, I'm fine putting that on the record. You have to look at what Jerry Green is standing for and what she's running on. She wants to spend hundreds of millions of dollars of your money taking care of other people as opposed to bringing money into the state.
Well, and here's what I would say, and we're going to get into Jerry Green, but you can, and it's the same thing with Chaz Mulder, and this is going to be part of a segment that I'm going to do here in a little bit, but Chaz Mulder for the 5th, he is running in the 5th against Charlie Hatcher, and Jerry Green, who is running against Marsha Blackburn for the governor's race. Well, they can look as moderate as they want, but the reality is that you can't trust the Democrat Party right now. I'm going to play you some audio that makes, I kid you not, it makes Chaz Mulder sound reasonable. But you cannot trust the Democrats because of what this party is and what this party has morphed into. So I just, for the people that are like, oh, I'm not going to support Marsha Blackburn, well, you need to, because this is critically important. One of the things, and we talked about this last night, Chris did say that he would vote for Marsha Blackburn. Others in the room who were Fritz supporters also said that they might vote for the Republican Party. But yeah, there were some that said that no, they would not.
Our work is much bigger than any one candidate or one campaign. We absolutely have to unite as a party and defeat the Democrats in November. So my commitment to you is I will continue to work with you and for you. I'll continue traveling the state, listening to you, earning your trust, and working to build our conservative movement. You know,
so one of the things that I'm curious about, and maybe Sam or Joan, you can check, but has Monty Fritz posted anything this morning after his loss last night? Has John Rose? You guys remember John? I spoke to John Rose yesterday, and he was, I don't know if you would agree with this, Joan, but he was uncharacteristically angry.
Yeah.
Like he really came out swinging against Senator Blackburn, which I get. I think more than likely, perhaps, and I like all three of these candidates. I've said that ad nauseum. But I think that maybe he had seen some internal polling or something that showed that he was going to lose. And that was almost like a last-ditch effort, if you will, just coming out swinging against Blackburn. He actually said, I think, one or two things that I don't remember because, to be perfectly honest, I didn't pay it that close of attention to what he said. I was taken aback more by just how angry he was and the attacks. But maybe he realized after sinking millions, it's going to be a long day.
Yeah, I can tell.
You know what? I was up all night doing the thing last night, and I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, so I'm going to struggle a little bit. The voice has to wake up. But I think that he realized spending, millions of dollars of his own money, because he spent, Joan, like $9, $10, $11 million of his own money on his campaign only to lose.
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
So I would be angry too. It is 5:15, time to check the roads on WTN.
They're still working that crash in Holiday Hills. It's on South Graycroft Avenue at Van Trees Road. Also, looks like there are delays already this morning on 24 westbound in the Laverne area. Perhaps they're still working on the construction there. And a little slow, too, as you make your way to the merge with 40 on 24 westbound. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Thank you, Joan. It is 5:15, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. As far as your forecast goes, some sun this morning, turning mostly cloudy and humid. High around 92. Chance of an afternoon shower this afternoon or thunderstorms as well. Saturday, scattered thunderstorms and a high of 88. Sunday, partly cloudy and a high of 92. One of the things that I did like about Marsha Blackburn's speech last night was, basically beware of the Democrats, because we have seen what they are capable of, what they want to do to America, and what the Democrats, would love to do to Tennessee.
all elections, every election is important, and this one especially so, that is coming up in November, because the Democrats are just not running on different policies. The Democrats are running to destroy our state and our nation. We cannot let them get one smidge of momentum in the great state of Tennessee.
And that is obviously true, and that is something that we all need to be focused on and cognizant of. Because at this point, I think Marsha Blackburn, she did have what I would call, it was a solid win. Was it as much of a win as we thought that she was going to get at the beginning of this campaign? No. However, at least to me, it was a solid win. One of the things, and here's what you got to do. As she's talking about the Democrats, all you've got to do is look at Justin Pearson and Justin Jones, right? Those guys are radicals here in the state of Tennessee. The Democrats are out to destroy America, and that's not hyperbole, folks. It's not. That is real. You look at what the Democrat nominee has on her website as far as her platform goes, it sounds pretty generic. Supporting American and Tennessee families, right? Real support for working families is what she says. Strong public schools. Realize, by the way, and she's out of Memphis. Realize that Democrats do control Memphis and Nashville. She's advocating, Jerry Green, is advocating for strong public schools. Again, on her website. Well, you control Memphis and you control Nashville, and particularly in Memphis, the schools are crap. So crappy that the state had to take over your schools. So how exactly is it, I would ask Jerry Green, how exactly is it that you want to make schools stronger? Because the Democrat enclaves here in Tennessee of Nashville and Memphis, you don't have strong schools. They're challenged, to say the least. So, the party, the Democrats, they can't handle what they control right now, and they want the entire state. She talks about health care access, common sense laws, and that's where she talks about restricting gun rights. A future, she says, worth fighting for. That would be her climate smart policies. I'm going to put that in air quotes, climate smart policies. And as I said, she's based out of Memphis. So, I mean, I don't know, maybe another good Daily Dan poll later on today would be to the WTN Nation. Would you ever actually vote for a Democrat? Would you consider voting for a Democrat if you're somebody you're angry about John Rose, you're angry about Monty Fritz, and you're like, I'm going to just burn this thing down and I'm going to vote Democrat? If that's you, I would ask you not to do that, but there's a lot of people that have done that in the past. Last night, Marsha Blackburn spoke about how great Tennessee is with low taxes, strong business climate, educational freedoms, and, all of the things that we do enjoy as Tennesseans.
And we are not going to let the Democrats take that away from us. And as your governor, I will not allow Tennessee to become New York or California.
I mean, that's what we like to hear. And I think we all got to be honest with what the Democrats ultimately want. And they do want to become New York or California. It is insanity, especially when you look at what is happening in those respective states. Blackburn last night, she talked about setting up a Tennessee Doge. This was during her victory speech. She talked about setting up a Tennessee Doge. She spoke about how it is clear that Tennessee is a Donald Trump state. And yes, she is also advocating for Amendment 2.
I'm going to lead our push to vote yes on Amendment 2 in November. To be sure, we never have a state property tax in the state of Tennessee.
Yeah, I mean, we already know that a lot of people have been blindsided with massive increases in property taxes. We've been talking about that for, months now, years, actually. So that is something that we'll be voting on in November. Blackburn also spoke about one of the things that her opponents attacked her on, actually both of her opponents attacked her on, and that was the local economy and bringing businesses to the state of Tennessee. Yes, I'm talking about the Starbucks deal. She spoke about it a little bit more generically.
We are going to keep attracting and growing good paying jobs. We're going to do this by supporting local companies that are ready to grow and by being smart about the businesses that we're recruiting to our state.
All right. What's that?
I was going to say, you asked me to check to see if Monty has posted anything, and it's a negative.
How about John Rose?
That was my next move. Last thing that came out of the Fritz campaign was, just a warning the polls were closing about 10 hours ago.
Yeah, I looked up because Andy Ogles had I would call the Ogles defeat pretty crushing, obviously, for Andy. And so we'll talk about that race in the 5th as well. I remember yesterday I spoke to Andy Ogles and Charlie Hatcher, and I have a lot of thoughts on that particular race as well. So, one of the things that, just getting back to Marsha Blackburn, I realize I'm all over the place. She also came out in favor of course, the Freedom Scholarships. no cell phones in schools, no men in women's sports or spaces, building the infrastructure we need to support our economy, supporting law enforcement, ensuring that we continue to carry out executions with the death penalty. So, for Marsha Blackburn, she said, at least to me, she said all the right things.
And I will continue to work with President Trump and his administration to be sure we deport every single illegal alien.
What were you saying, Joan?
It's the red meat. I mean, this
It
is
is the red
exactly what we want to hear, right?
Yeah. It's what we want to hear, but it's also what we need to hear.
Yes.
Because listen, I would say, Joan, how divided would you say the Republican Party in the state of Tennessee has been over this gubernatorial primary?
I think, from what I see, I think it's been pretty divided.
It's been pretty bad.
The people who were opposed to Marsha Blackburn's nomination were very vocal and it was bordering on vitriolic because of the things that she has said and done in the past. They're holding her accountable. But, she was heavy on the unity, talk about unity in her speech last night because she knows that. She understands that she has been very divisive.
Well, and here's the other thing that I would say is that, and this is not directed at you two, Monty Fritz supporters have been very vocal about their support of Monty Fritz and their disdain for Marsha Blackburn.
Yes.
But here's the thing, though. That didn't come from Monty.
That's right.
Monty Fritz, he's been a class act all the way through this race. Yep. So, and which is one of the reasons why I think so many people actually really liked and like Monty Fritz, which is why I'm very curious as to what he's going to have to say today. And if he asks his supporters to support the party, the Republican Party here in the state of Tennessee, and vote Marsha in November.
I think he started a little bit of a movement. I think he planted a seed that we might see start to change, especially in the younger base, over the next 3 to 5 years.
Well, listen, we talked about this last night at Hop Springs where, and I think we talked about it yesterday, didn't we? What's next for Monty Fritz? I know we talked about that last night at the event. By the way, what a great event. Can I just say, Joan, you actually showed up. I walk in and who's the first guy that I see is John, your hubby.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a minute. It was like kind of surreal. It's like, you look just like Joan Jones's husband. And there was John. And then he started talking to me. And then I realized, oh, he sounds like, wait, this is John. And then there were you about 10 feet to my left. So you actually decided to show up. Thank you to all the people that showed up last night to Hop Springs.
What fantastic people. I just had so many wonderful conversations with people, and that's what I wanted to do, just go out and say hi to people. So I just sort of milled around in the crowd a little bit and just got to talk to people, took photos with people, shook hands, gave love and hugs. And we have the world's nicest listeners, honestly.
We do.
It's amazing.
They are awesome. And I got some gifts. Do you know what I got? Daggone it. It's in the car.
What'd you get?
You know what? I'll see if I can go get it for the 535.
I got a gift too.
You got a gift too?
Yeah, I got a challenge coin from Santa Claus. Did you see him?
Santa Claus? No, I did not see Santa Claus.
Okay, so there was a guy. I think he actually had on a Hawaiian shirt, but long, bushy white beard, looked like Santa Claus.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
He
okay.
had Santa Claus challenge coins.
Yeah, I saw him.
I got one of those. Yeah.
Okay, very good. So just a great event. I had really. By the way, I know that this will shock no one. I had probably one of the most, and this is saying something, one of the most awkward moments I've ever had at WTN last night. Do you know what it is, Joan? Do you know what happened to me?
Was it a hugging incident? Because I saw you hugging a lot of people last night. I was very proud of you.
I'm fine. Actually, you know what? One guy wanted to kiss my head.
Oh.
And I I specifically said, there will be no head kissing.
Oh, my.
Oh.
And I didn't really know what to do. Apparently somebody like called for a fatwa on my head. So it was
a
like
fatwa on your head.
Yeah, somebody told people to kiss my head. So hugs are fine. But see, the whole head kissing thing,
Yeah.
I'm protecting you, not me. Because I know where my head has been. I'm totally kidding. Whatever. Anyway, so great event last night. Had a really good time. I think it was probably one of our best events that we've ever had, actually. The turnout and everything.
The turnout was amazing, for one thing. And when I was leaving last night, now they didn't have this set up when I came in, and I don't know if it was set up when you came in, but they had 2 huge wrecker trucks, and they put up their ladders or whatever, and they hung an American flag.
A huge American flag.
Yeah, right over the entrance to Hop Springs. And I thought, man, this is the coolest thing ever. It like gave me chills. I just loved it.
Well, I mean, clearly Hop Springs, I mean, they've got, if they're willing to put up with us for so many events, clearly they're a conservative venue, if you will. The people that run it, own it, they're conservative. They don't mind having us. You know, there's other venues that we've tried to get into back when I was the boss around here that wouldn't take us because we were conservative, right?
Get out of here. Really?
Oh, no, they wouldn't even take our money. I'm telling you, it's insanity. That's why you need to vote Marsha Blackburn. She'll stop all that in Tennessee. Yeah. All right, we got to go. 528 WTN. Wait, what am I doing? Am I throwing it right to Joan doing the news? Is that what you want me to do, Sam? Sam said throw it to Joan doing the... Oh, I'm going to tease it. Okay.
Tease, yeah.
Wake up, Mandis.
Man, shut up. I got like 2 hours of sleep last night. I am on the struggle bus today. But I'm going to get through it because, I think my voice finally turned on, so I'm feeling okay now. Yeah. Anyway, Joan's got the news at 5:30. Joan.
Yeah, we've got who won, who they're facing, and a deadly shootout with federal agents in Nashville yesterday. That's coming up at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis from Super Talk 99.7 WTN and Nashville's Morning News. I'm here with Chris from USS, United Structural Systems. He's checking out my basement, my foundation, my crawl space to see if there's anything wrong. Fingers crossed. All right, so there's good news and there's bad news. The bad news is we found some cracks in my basement wall. The good news, I've got Chris here who's going to walk me through the next steps.
Yes, so unfortunately, your house has been subject to the pressure of the dirt. The hydrostatic pressure, heavy dirt pushes on foundation walls, and you've got a little bit of what we call bowing. So that wall is pushed in a little bit. We have a lifetime warranty solution for that. So we install, usually in a day or two, this can be done in most situations. We install carbon fiber straps, which keep the wall from moving inward at any point in the future. It's a lifetime warranty for anybody that ever owns this house. So it's a quick and routine thing that we do, but it yields some long-lasting benefits.
It's a great selling point if you want to sell your house.
Absolutely. Good thing about our warranties is they're not only transferable, like the contract says, they're automatically transferred when you sell your house. So you'll have to sign any paperwork or even send us an email saying that you sold your house. Warranty would transfer to the next owner.
Good morning. It is 5:33. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories and our forecast. A little bit of sun this morning, but then it'll turn cloudy. It'll be a humid 92 today, and we may see some showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. Tomorrow, scattered thunderstorms, high 88. Sunday, partly cloudy, our high around 92. And our top story, of course, this morning, the primary win for Tennessee U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn to become the governor of Tennessee. Now, she defeated John Rose and Monty Fritz to represent the GOP in the November election. Got a bit of her speech here after the call was made last night.
Our work is much bigger than any one candidate or one campaign. We absolutely have to unite as a party and defeat the Democrats in November. So my commitment to you is I will continue to work with you and for you. I'll continue traveling the state, listening to you, earning your trust.
So in the 4th Congressional District, Scott Desjardins easily defeated his opponent for the Republican nod, winning with 66% of the vote. He's going to face Democrat Victoria Broderick in November. Charlie Hatcher, he unseated Andy Ogles in the 5th, winning 53 to 47%. Hatcher faces Democrat Chaz Mulder in the fall. Johnny Garrett picked up the win in the 6th. He defeated Van Hillary and John Henry. Garrett is facing off against Democrat Mike Crowley in November. And in the 9th, it was Brent Taylor taking home the nomination over Todd Warner and Jeremy Thompson. Now, Taylor is facing Democrat Justin Pearson in the general election. Pearson won last night with 66% of the Democratic vote. The investigation into yesterday's shootout between ATF agents and 2 people suspected of selling guns illegally still underway today. News 2's Alicia Wemberly.
The shooting took place at a storage facility off Thompson Lane near Landers Avenue. Agents with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives came to the storage unit to investigate the illegal sale of firearms when someone started shooting at them. Those agents returned fire and 2 people were killed. The 2 people who died were not law enforcement officers.
Now, TBI stayed on the scene. They say it is secure, no danger to the public. That's the latest news. Traffic's next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Oh, that's me. Yeah, we've got an accident this morning in Holiday Hills, still being worked on. This one involves injuries, by the way. It's on South Graycroft Avenue at Van Trees Road. It's a little bit slow on 24 westbound side as you make your way in as well. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.540, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. All right, my pledge to my coworkers, from this point forward, we will be on time.
Is that right?
Yep.
Listen to all that confidence we have in you. Listen to that.
All right, so
About tore my rotator cuff giving you the wind-up signal.
So real quick, some gifts that we got last night at the event, and this is I'm going to describe for people listening on the radio. Guy gave me a golden shovel. Now this goes back to a conversation that we had. I think it was like several months ago.
It was
about how the afternoon show. We love Dr. Kevin Mitchell. He showers them with gifts.
He does. I know.
And we got nothing on the morning show. So the guy took pity on us because we said we needed a golden shovel because I'm always, digging a hole for myself or digging my own grave. So hence the golden shovel. So he gave me it's literally a golden shovel. It's a little shovel that he painted gold.
Yeah, that is worthy of hanging on somebody's wall. Like you need to put that up there in the studio or perhaps in your own home studio. That's a beautiful shovel.
Indeed, it is. Now, somebody else gave me.
I think the shovel needs a sound effect.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Would this work since it's on theme for this segment as well?
No, not at all.
Nope.
Please don't do that again. Guy also gave me a little miniature bust of my head.
Oh my gosh.
So
can you see that on the? I got to describe it for radio folks, but can you see that on the Super Text TV thing?
The likeness
Super Talk
is amazing.
TV. Does that really look like me?
I think so.
Yeah.
Can you see it on the screen, Sam?
Yeah. I mean, it got a little bit too much light on it, and it's kind of reflective on the stream.
See,
so it's definitely very lifelike.
Yeah.
Really, because I look tired even in this. So
you almost look like Obama there. Sorry.
Wow. I see. I was going to say that I think I look like Glenn Jacobs.
Oh.
I do. I think I look like Kane. I look like some bad A guy, there in this little bust. So
could call you Quarter Cane.
When they do,
It's
actually pretty good. That's pretty good, Sam. Yeah. So when they do a Mount Rushmore of radio, and they put me on it because there won't be anybody left in radio. This can be my bust right there. So there you go. Yeah, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it. Murphy's, by the way, do you know what's so funny? We actually joked about, then I'm going to get down to business. Murphy said that this looks more like me than the graphic they used to promote the event. Because remember, the event just did,
Fact check true.
Yeah. So anyway, just two of the things that I received last night. Very good.
You should put it on the corner of the studio table behind your mug so it's looking at the camera menacingly.
Okay. Right there?
Other side of the mug.
Somebody on the Super Text line, Joel,
Oh, yeah, there we go. It's perfect.
wanted to know if we had a tip jar too.
A tick guard?
Tip jar.
Tip jar. Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know. Nobody gave me a tip except to get off the radio.
Yeah.
So here, just very quickly, had a great time last night. Unbeknownst to me, and it would have been nice if somebody had told us, but there was a watch party for a local candidate there in Rutherford County for sheriff. Well, I had no idea that we were sharing the space with the event. So this is my worst nightmare. I walk up to these folks and I say, hey, I'm Dan, I do the morning show, my usual spiel. They look at me like I just farted in their church. It was so clear that they wanted nothing to do with, like, clearly they were not fans. And it was like, I said, hello? And it was like Jonah's scowl.
Wow.
And I thought, I don't know what the heck I did to them, but okay. And thanks for coming. And I scurried right along. Like, you're not used to, when you're in that kind of a situation, Joan, people are very nice.
Yeah.
And so when you go up to somebody and there's like a group of 3 people and they clearly wanted nothing to do with me, and I got the hint really quick, I scurried off. And then you know what? Then I was scared to go back down into the crowd because I didn't know what to expect. Because usually I'm like real comfortable with going down and talking to folks.
Yeah.
But it was like, nope, I'm gonna stay up here on the stage. Anyway, but that being said, met a lot of really great people. Now it's time for
Jones World, party time.
Is this whole show going to suck? Like that. I think that's got to be the question.
Yeah.
Is this whole show going to suck?
I blame Kafara in the YouTube chat.
Well,
she says that your mini-me needs a cool Dan hat. So I'm assuming we need a mini
you know
scally
what?
for the bust.
Sure, we can try to put it. I don't even know what they made this out of, but it's actually very cool. Like I like it, and it's kind of a fun little thing.
It doesn't have like red eyes like you have today.
But I am so tired. So whatever. Joan, it's not
Yes.
about me.
Right.
Because it's
Jones World, party time.
But when I ask, is the show going to suck like this all day? It's because we went to traffic for Joan like a few minutes ago, and she wasn't there. I started out the show with Kermit voice. It's finally kind of sort of coming into its own. And I called for Joan's World Sounder, and Sam was nowhere to be found. So, Joan, what is our first story for Joan's World?
All right, so we don't have a whole lot of time for this, so I'm going to go right to the visual that's on this. So it's the second one down.
Yep.
This is a visual only, so if you folks are listening on the radio, I posted this also on my X account, Joan Jones WTN on X. It is the cutest stinking video of a dog.
Is that real?
It's real.
A dog is getting licked on the back of the head by a cow. And the dog is like, what in the world?
The cow is just sniffing, and this dog's eyes. Now, have the eyes gone up yet?
Yeah.
See, that's what I would have looked like had I let that guy kiss my head last night.
Yeah.
Which, in case you're just joining us, somebody wanted to kiss my head. So
I just love this dog. Like,
that is so funny.
yeah, that just gives us a good laugh this morning on this Friday morning after our candidate lost. So let's go to, what's the next one here? Let's do the reminder why mass migration is not a good idea.
Okay.
This is from a video out of the UK. Some gentleman who arrived in Britain recently.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, and 1.
I want my money and my free house. And English woman, it's my dream. If everyone can have that, we want it. You can't get that anywhere else. England is good.
Is that real?
As far as I know, yes.
The problem is it sounds very real because that is what they do. Literally, they like. By the way, we got Kathy Hinters coming up at 6:05. Going to talk
Yes.
about the Muslim Brotherhood and how the Democrats refused to attend a congressional hearing on the Muslim Brotherhood.
Yes.
I've been talking about with Kathy Hinters. We've been talking about the Muslim Brotherhood for years. So we're going to talk about that coming up at 6:05 on Super Talk 99.7. But this is what they do.
Yep.
We want our free house.
I want my free house.
We
and
want
my
our
white
money.
woman.
And we want our white women.
Unbelievable.
That's what we want. So, yeah,
there
mass
was-
migration is a bad thing.
There was a Democrat congressman who lost his seat this week, and
It's
we
the
didn't
weird
talk
one.
about this.
Shri Thanador?
Thanador. Yeah.
Thanador?
I want to
He's
know
the guy from where is he from? I think he's from India, and he's the guy that wears the wig, and he's the one that's constantly.
Oh, is that a wig?
trying- I
Yeah.
believe it is.
I was
yeah.
going to say, I want to know what animal sacrificed itself for his hairpiece.
Yeah, right on his head. He's the guy also that continues all he did while he was in Congress was to call for the impeachment of President Trump. That's all he did. He didn't have any agenda, and he wonders why he lost his seat. Listen to him as he's saying goodbye.
But they talk about my hair. They talk about my hair. They talk about my appearance. They talk about where I was born. They talk about everything, my looks. They talk about my age. They talk about why I should be deported back to the country where I was born. They talk about my past business dealings and they distort my business record. They do everything. But
Wow. Does he always like that? I see why he
Yes.
lost his primary.
Yeah, he did. He
So,
lost his
they
primary.
primaried him. Mm-hmm. Who
And,
do we know who beat him? Was it somebody that could actually get things done, or was it like a socialist, Democrat kind of a person? Because this guy has always been a joke. My question is so this is what's baffling to me. This is what I'm thinking about this morning.
Oh, a DSA-backed candidate won.
I
Yeah.
call into question his judgment because of that hairpiece.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Like if that was your choice, dude, of a hairpiece, then I don't trust you to try to balance a budget.
He always said the most outrageous things that he could possibly say.
Right.
And like I said, he didn't have an agenda. He didn't try to help people. All he wanted to do was to impeach President Trump, and he thought that was going to keep him in office. And that's what you get, buddy. And see ya, deport him right back to India. I'm okay with that.
Is that where he's from?
Yep,
Okay.
he sure is. All right, want to do one more?
Sure, Joan.
Okay.
I'm just going to let that deport his ass back to India.
Yeah.
Joan Jones. That we should do a promo.
Seconded here.
Seconded. Oh, listen, I'll third it. Absolutely. Every day of the week. You want to do Caroline Sunshine?
Yeah, I love this.
All right.
I love this. This is from, what's that round table in the afternoon that I can't think of the name of it, but you'll get the idea. No,
Oh, on CNN?
CNN. Yeah.
I don't know. It's the Abby Phillips show.
Abby Phillips, thank you.
Yeah.
It's her show, and Caroline Sunshine speaks, and it devolves into they can't let her speak. When she begins to speak, they all jump in so that they make her stop.
Here we
Listen
go.
to this.
You shouldn't be tarring and feathering someone that has been in 6 administrations doing nothing but being a devoted servant of our public health. It's a shame.
Forget about prosecuting him. The guy should be in a mental institution. He's a textbook sociopath. I mean, DSM-5 level sociopath who was running our pandemic response. Low empathy, ability to inflict pain on innocents, narcissism. I mean,
What
let
are
me
you
just
talking
read
about?
diary entries for you.
Who are you talking
Verbatim.
about?
At the
His-
height
hold on,
of the
hold on, guys, hold on.
pandemic.
He's getting
Hold on.
hold on,
At the
guys.
height of the
Oh, that is so funny.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much to trigger these folks.
No. And she's so right on. I love her. She's just so sharp, and I don't know why she's not in the White House still,
What are you
but-
talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, my Lord. All right, it is 5:54, Super Talk 99.7. Joan's got the news at 6. Joan.
Yeah, coming up, we're going to hear from Justin Pearson after his big win last night. Woo! Wait till you hear this. It's coming up at 6 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Is this going to get us kicked off YouTube?
No.
All right.
It's only on the radio.
5:57, Nashville's Morning News. That's all I care about anymore is, are we going to get kicked off YouTube?
Because he's the hardest working man at the station.
Maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't say. I'll let others say that because, Matt Murphy or Chris Hand or Chad Benson might disagree with you, but whatever. But we had a great time last night. Thanks to everybody for coming out. I met 4702. The guy that's always picking on me, Joan.
Yeah.
He walked
Yes.
up and he said, "Hey, Dan, I'm 4702." And I did not punch him in the face. Nor did I want to. He's a good guy,
4702.
actually. Yeah, 47. He's always picking on me. I like him, though.
Okay. Yeah, it's so funny because when people approached last night, some of them did that. They were like, "Hey, I'm 4702. Remember me?" And I'm like, "What are you talking? Like, I don't remember people's numbers."
Oh, I do.
Do you really?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Thanks to
Okay.
Tommy Two-Tone.
867-5309, buddy. By the way, have you guys noticed? I know that we're missing sleep, but have you noticed something's missing? What is missing this morning?
What is missing this morning?
Yeah,
I don't know.
all the political ads.
Oh, yeah.
What is going to be a morning? What is going to be a morning without the Mark Pody jingle? By the way, he won, right? Did Mark Pody
Pody?
win?
Oh, that's a good question.
He must
Why
have.
didn't I have that?
He must have, because otherwise we would have heard about it. But if Mark Pody won, then that tells you that his jingle was successful. People remember the jingle. By the way, a lot of people on the super text line are saying that they will vote for Marsha Blackburn, even though they voted in the primary for Monty Fritz or John Rose. And somebody actually said, this is 4573. Dan, I remember when Phil Valentine said during the primary vote, vote your heart, but the general, vote your party, which does make sense.
That
Actually.
does make sense. Yeah.
We did the Daily Dan poll. So what does the Daily Dan poll say now that it's had about 45 minutes to germinate?
Yeah, are Rose/Fritz voters going to vote for Blackburn in the general election, with 75% of poll takers saying yes, they will. To you 25%, please go read the opponent's platform.
What
Mark
were you
Pody
saying?
did
She wants
win.
to spend, she wants to spend millions of dollars on what? I mean, it's all just, it's all to me just the basic vapid Democrat talking points.
Yeah, she wants to, her day one plan is to spend $70 million out of the TANF fund, and she wants to put 50 of that towards clearing the wait list for childcare. She wants to put 10 million of that towards buying up and erasing debt for 100,000 Tennesseans, and she wants to use 10 million of that to waive security deposits and ensure affordable housing for 100,000 plus Tennessee families.
So she's a socialist.
Oh, and then stop ICE cooperation across the state.
All right, we got to go. 6 o'clock, Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Good morning, 601. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. In the newly redrawn 9th Congressional District, a familiar face is going to represent the Democrat. State Representative Justin Pearson easily defeated his opponents in the primary. We've got part of a speech here.
Please don't think to divide us. Please don't think to divide us. But you can't divide a movement. We will fight until every last vote is counted this November, and the people
All right,
will
so you
not
get the
stop.
idea.
We
He
more
had,
than get the idea, Joan.
Yeah, sorry, it did go on for a little while there.
Was he doing the whole like sticking a finger in the light
Yes.
socket dance kind of a thing?
Yeah, that spasmodic dance that he does.
Spasmodic
when
thing that he does, yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
it was very weird, and people were loving it. So he is going to face Brent Taylor in the November general election. And as you remember, the 9th District saw the biggest changes after redistricting earlier this year. It carved up the 9th into 3 separate districts and ended the political career of Democrat Steve Cohen. Longtime Nashville business leader and philanthropist Martha Ingram has died. She played a pivotal role in the establishment of the I knew I was going to get this wrong. Schermerhorn Symphony
Girl.
Center.
Schermerhorn.
Thank you. Among other arts initiatives in Nashville. Now, Ingram became the CEO of Ingram Industries in 1995 when her husband died that year. Throughout her career, Ingram also served on the boards of Vanderbilt University, the Harpeth Hall School, and several publicly traded companies. Money News brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com.
Uncertainty over the direction of the Gulf War had equities investors giving up some of the gains they scored earlier in the week. The Dow Jones on Thursday fell 464 points to close back below 54,000. The S&P gave up 0.2%. The Nasdaq Composite slipped a fraction. The World Cup helped to kick Airbnb's revenues into high gear in the latest quarter. The short-term rental company says the soccer tournament helped to push the number of people trying the service for the first time to heights it hasn't seen in years. Revenue for the quarter just ended topped $3.6 billion, beating expectations at Airbnb. The produce company at the center of a nationwide outbreak of the cyclosporiasis stomach bug is also having trouble in the executive suite. Taylor Farms has sued the former president of its Tennessee subsidiary, claiming he stole more than $32 million to fund a lavish lifestyle. And Taylor Farms wants its money back. Jim Ryan, ABC News.
And stock futures this morning are all pointing up. When that's the latest news, we've got traffic and weather ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News. Looks like there is still an accident in Holiday Hills this morning, South Graycroft Avenue at Van Treese Road. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
6:07, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well. And welcome on in to a Friday edition of Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I'm going to play a couple of quick sound bites and set up this interview that I've got with Kathy Henners on the Muslim Brotherhood. You know, last night during her victory speech, her acceptance speech, Senator Marsha Blackburn, as you know, she won the primary for the Republicans for the governorship of the state of Tennessee. So she talked a little bit about illegal aliens and sanctuary cities. This was, again, part of her speech last night.
We do know it makes our communities less safe. It drives down wages, and it takes your jobs, and it makes just about everything more expensive. And we're going to make certain that every city realizes that in Tennessee you cannot have sanctuary cities or sanctuary city policies. And yes, to the Metro Nashville City Council and Mayor Freddie, I hope you understand that.
I mean, I love that she called them out on their sanctuary city policies, and I love that she is promising to be tough on illegal immigration, sanctuary cities, and the rest of that absolute nonsense that we do see from the Democrats. One of the things that happened earlier in the week, and I think I mentioned it in passing just because with everything going on, I didn't get a chance to really focus on it, but earlier this week, there was a Senate Judiciary Subcommittee examining the Muslim Brotherhood. Now, we're going to get to who exactly the Muslim Brotherhood is and why they pose a danger to you, your family, and the state that you love coming up. But here's the thing. The Democrats would not even attend it. Why? It's because they're woke and stupid.
Our reason for declining to attend is that it could well be used as an anti-Muslim Islamophobia kind of show trial, in effect.
So Kathy Henners, DailyRollCall.com, you heard Senator Richard Blumenthal say, well, we're not going to attend this hearing on the Muslim Brotherhood because it could be seen as anti-Muslim, anti-Islam, and it's nothing but a show trial. Well, I think what they're doing is they're trying to obfuscate the fact that the Muslim Brotherhood is a major, major issue in Europe, and it is becoming even more of an issue here in America. By the way, coming up at 6:36, a full examination of the primaries last night with Matthew Hurt. So I don't know, when we talk about the Muslim Brotherhood, let's set it up by talking about Europe first, and then we'll talk about what's going on here in Tennessee and America.
Well, if people haven't seen what's happening in Europe, and it's more the Sharia law compliance, that they have over there, the Muslim Brotherhood is there, but I will tell you that the Muslim Brotherhood is here even more. The Muslim Brotherhood is all over. It's global. It's listed as a terrorist organization in several Middle Eastern countries. They haven't been able to be designated in Europe or here as a terrorist organization because they haven't become violent to the point that, they usually are. But it's the funding that's the problem. The Muslim Brotherhood, it does exist in Europe. Several of the same organizations that are here are also there. They have the same problems with the funding of Hamas and through the Muslim Brotherhood. But, here, it goes back to 1928. We actually let them in the 60s. The first thing that they did was join or form a Muslim student association at the University of Illinois in Champaign, or Urbana. And so that's how they started here. And so they have grown, but we know that through FBI documents and memos that there's a list of 29 organizations that are Muslim Brotherhood entities. Several of them here have grown, and it's what's interesting about that is one of the founders of CARE has stated that they can register an organization very easily. As a matter of fact, they can register 100 organizations in 100 cities in one day, and they do.
Well, hey, Kathy, real quick, let's talk about what it is that they represent before we go any further. Like, okay, so who are they? What do they represent? What are the concerns?
The whole bottom line to the Muslim Brotherhood is to continue to grow and eventually become a global caliphate. I know people roll their eyes when they hear that. They say we have a constitution. It's not possible. It is possible. It is a parallel way of life. It will be incorporating Sharia law. And the more elected officials that are from the Muslim Brotherhood or have that affiliation, that is going to be the problem, because the more and higher the numbers, the more they can affect change. You know, we've talked about this for years. The goal is eventually compliance, Sharia compliance and domination. People say, no, that can't happen. We have a constitution. It's happening. You saw, yesterday, Abdul al-Sayed out in Michigan was elected. We have 142 Muslims, or I call them Islamists, across the country that have been elected in various positions. Important positions are judges, school boards, certainly, senators and Congress. But this is how they're going to affect change. It's called creeping Sharia. And so that is so important that we understand that it's here. And it's here in Nashville. And that's something that we need to be paying attention. There's a document out there that I wish everyone would read. It has evidentiary value from a trial that was done here in America in 2008 in Dallas, Texas. It's called an explanatory memorandum on the general strategic goal for the group in North America. You can find it anywhere online. You can find it on my website, certainly under Islamic documents. Everyone needs to read it because it is their playbook. You and I have talked about this for a long time, Dan. And so, during that testimony yesterday from Kyle Scheidler, I thought it was very interesting that he did a great job. I would have liked to have seen him expound a little bit more on how and why the Muslim Brotherhood is here. And so...
Well, Kathy, earlier you said that we let them in. That was, I think your exact quote, did we let them in through just the typical immigration process, or how did that come down?
Yeah, they've been there. Most of them are here legally. Certainly, the citizens are, but most of them have immigrated here legally. Very well educated. They were on college campuses. That was the first place that they went to. We understand why they go to college campuses. It's called dawah, or the proselytizing of Islam. It's the actual planting of seeds of Islam. They do good works throughout the communities that they're in. There's probably over 600 chapters of the Muslim Student Association. That is how it started here, by bringing students from abroad over to America and then dispersing them throughout the states and incorporating the Muslim Student Association. We have them here in Tennessee. We've got one at Trevecca University, Belmont University, Vanderbilt University. They're embedded into college campuses, and so that is how it is spreading initially. And then the next goal, we have something called the Islamic Society of North America. They're supported by the Islamic Revolution, and their whole political mission states that it has a political goal to exert influence on political decision-making and legislation. That's where we're at now. They are still on college campuses, but now they've kind of grown into being political.
Well, look at
the problem.
To me, the example is what is happening in Minnesota with the Somalians. I don't think I don't know. Yeah. You tell me. Is that an example of what we're seeing with the Muslim Brotherhood, where you have these enclaves? And I got to check traffic real quick, but is that an example of what we're seeing with these enclaves in places like, you've got the Dearborn, Michigan, you've got, the Somalians in Minnesota. More with Kathy Hinters coming up next. It is 6:15. Time to check the roads on WTN.
Center, 65 southbound before Rosa Parks Boulevard. Police activity has the right.
Saeed got $115K from 40 donors affiliated with the Council of American Islamic Relations.
49 due to a crash. I'm Christy O'Brien.
Thank you very much. It is 6:15, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Kathy Hinters is joining us talking about the Muslim Brotherhood here in the state of Tennessee and across America. Ted Cruz, Kathy, you were talking about the hearings that we saw earlier this week. There was one moment where Ted Cruz did ask that expert about the relationship between the Democrat Socialists of America and the Muslim Brotherhood. Listen.
Would you agree that this alliance between the Muslim Brotherhood and the DSA, otherwise known as the Red-Green Alliance, is based on a shared hatred of America.
And I would go further as to say it's also united around a revolutionary objective advocating for the overthrow of the U.S. Constitution.
I mean, these are not a bunch of, tinfoil hatters. I mean, this is Ted Cruz. These are experts who are, they're knowledgeable of what is going on with the Muslim Brotherhood and has been going on with the Muslim Brotherhood. When people challenge this, because, it does happen all the time. You heard Richard Blumenthal earlier talking about how, it's Islamophobic. What happens when people such as yourself challenge these folks that are part of the Muslim Brotherhood?
Well, it all comes back to the first word, Muslim, and that's the problem. There's nothing religious about the Muslim Brotherhood. It is a political organization, it is a political movement. And so that is why, though, they always, go back to the part that is Islamophobia. It has nothing to do with the religion, which, by the way, is a very small part of Islam. But that's how they do this. And actually, what's interesting is I've been hearing it now being called the Blue-Red Alliance, because it's obviously Democrats, the blue, but communists and the Islamists have very much in common. I had a talk with a man named Trevor Loudon, who's from New Zealand. He's very much into communism and goes around talking about it. He had asked me, he said, who do you think will win, the communists or the Muslims? And I said, the Muslims obviously will win because of their patience and their due diligence in exactly what they're doing today. They are saturating areas. And when you saturate areas that are dominantly Islamic, they will vote for Islamists, and this is how we're seeing them grow into our own government. Very, very scary. People need to pay attention to this because we do have this problem in Nashville. It's on a smaller scale, but the fact that they're here is a problem. And so, we look at these organizations called the Islamic Society of North America. They own and operate the majority of mosques throughout this country. And as a matter of fact, the Islamic Center of Nashville is owned and operated by the Islamic Society of North America. Their financial arm is called the North American Islamic Trust. You'll see that we have a picture, a screenshot of the deed that does in fact show that that's who they're owned and operated by. So, it is here. People want to always refer to it as over there or, Minnesota or wherever, Plano, Texas is the new problem. But it's here and it's in small increments. They've been taking baby steps. Now, with as many as that are being elected in this country, the baby steps and the masks have come off. They've outwardly said what their goal is, and that's to dominate and to change America.
Well, look at Hassan Piker, look at Abdul El Said, and look at others like them. And you're right, they're not mincing words. I mean, listen to what they're saying. And it's almost on an every other daily basis here on my show that I'm calling out Hassan Piker or Abdul El Said and some of these other folks that are saying some of these things, essentially, in my opinion, wanting to overthrow America. So this is something that does need to be addressed. This is something that does need to be talked about, and we'll continue to talk about it here. Kathy, your website, dailyrollcall.com, and what can people find there real quick?
They can find under documents, Islamic documents. They can find all these documents that you and I have talked about for a long time. Certainly the Muslim Brotherhood is listed as the manifesto. And so I would urge people to download it, read it, understand it. It's in Arabic. The first 14 pages are in Arabic. English follows. Learn who the organizations are, and then you can read articles of how they're connected to Nashville and Tennessee.
All right, Kathy Hinters, always great to talk to you. I'll have you back on again soon. It is 6:21 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And yeah, you just can't deny what Hassan Piker stands for. You cannot deny what Abdul El Said stands for. When they're out there and they're talking about how they will not condemn Hamas for killing 1,200 Jews, when they're out there talking about how America deserved 9/11, that is all part of this. And as Kathy said, when they tell you who they are, when they show you who they are, we have got to pay attention and be aware. Joan has the news coming up at 6:30. Joan.
Yeah, President Trump is taking another shot at ending birth tourism. We'll talk about his executive orders signed yesterday. Coming up in the news at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dan Mandis here, 622 on Super Talk 99.7. Listen, if you've got a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to, but you can still get cash out of your home thanks to Loan Pronto and their zero cost equity loan. That's right. Now, with Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. Now, one local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off all of their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 every single month. But it does get better. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, and no long drawn out process. And listen, no closing costs when you go through Loan Pronto. You might even be able to skip your next 2 house payments. So call them right now, leave your low rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. LoanPronto.com is the website, LoanPronto.com, and see how much you can get right now. 615-499-5780, 615-499-5780, LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. Dan Mandis here, and yes, indeed, times are tough. If you need a truck, a minivan, a vehicle, maybe an SUV, Mid-10 Ford, they can help you out with great selection and terrific pricing. These folks are the absolute best. I was out there last week, and they let me drive a bunch of those vehicles, a lot of those trucks. They are amazing. They feel great. Now, Mid-10 Ford, they've been around for 56 years, since 1969, helping people get the vehicle that is right for them. So right now, you need to save money, and they can help you save money at Mid-10 Ford. Right now, you can save $1,000 or more on select Ford trucks. They also offer special financing if you need it. They are literally a one-stop shop, so you can buy your vehicle there, you can get it serviced there, and they have a body shop as well. So if you're looking for brand new, maybe a pre-owned, you can check out all the great deals. Start the process at their website. It's a great website, mid10fordtrucks.com. That's mid10fordtrucks.com. They offer low-pressure sales and maximum customer service. Again, they've been doing this for 4 generations, so let them help you get into your next vehicle. Find them online, mid10fordtrucks.com. Let their family take care of your family. So CNN has a little blurb. Trump to Punchbowl News. Voters are angry at Republicans. You know, I mean, look, I'm a Trump supporter, but dude, there's some people that are angry at you, right? I mean, I would not be honest if I didn't say that I find that a little insulting, because there's a lot of Republicans who are angry because they voted for you based on no more wars and, you know, keeping gas prices low and the rest of that. And so there's a lot of people on our side of the aisle that are angry with Donald Trump. For the president, you know, to not openly admit, yeah, you know what, we have some work that we need to do, including wrapping up what the heck is going on in Iran, I think that he's being a little disingenuous, because I think that, yeah, people are angry at Republicans. People are also angry with the president because of the war in Iran. Hopefully, we can get that wrapped up at some point soon. It is 6:30, Super Talk 99.7, WTN.
Good morning, 6:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And Marsha Blackburn wins the GOP gubernatorial nomination. She took 43% of the vote. John Rose called Blackburn around 8:30 last night to concede. We've got some of his speech that he delivered with his wife and children beside him.
I believe we are blessed to live in the greatest state, in the greatest nation, in the history of the world. I believe we are one nation under God, and I believe Tennessee's best days are ahead of us. Thanks to each of you for your support, and I'll forever be grateful.
Now, Rose also saying he will support Marsha Blackburn in the general, and he urges his supporters to do the same. Now, we have not heard from Monty Fritz yet, who came in third with 23% of the vote. President Trump is taking another shot at ending birth tourism. That's when a pregnant woman comes to the U.S. for the purpose of giving birth to an American citizen. He signed 2 new executive orders.
The new orders are far more narrow than Trump's first try at tackling the issue, when he sought to end citizenship for children of undocumented immigrants and temporary visa holders. The Supreme Court rejected that in June, citing the 14th Amendment, which grants citizenship to anyone born on American soil.
Now, that's ABC's Karen Hua. Now, the second order puts limits on who is eligible for citizenship at birth, banning it for kids of alien enemies of the United States, members of foreign terrorist organizations, and large categories of people who lobby and act on behalf of foreign governments. That is the latest news, traffic, and weather. Next, I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 632 Super Talk 99.7 WTN Super Text line is open, 615-737-9986. Dan Mendes here. One of your biggest priorities in life has got to be to protect your family. And if the power goes out in your neighborhood, you need to get it back on quickly. You need the Generator Supercenter. Now, you've seen the horror stories of power being out for days or weeks on end. Maybe you've even lived through it here in Middle Tennessee back in January. Now, the Generator Supercenter does provide backup home standby generators at a terrific price and outstanding customer service. Matter of fact, go to their website right now and find out how you can save $500. Please tell them Dan Mandis told you to check them out. It's Generator Supercenter of Nashville.com, Generator Supercenter of Nashville.com, and see how you can get started. Now, they do feature turnkey installation, certified plumbers and electricians, and service after the install, and a whole lot more. So the power goes out in your neighborhood. You've got a backup power generator, so your power is going to go right back on. Now, at the Generator Supercenter, they also have their generators made right here in America. So call them. Again, tell them I told you to reach out, 615-879-1952, 615-879-1952. Don't forget to check out their website, Generator Supercenter of Nashville.com, and see how you can save $500. Dan Mandis here for Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Back to school time means back to busy schedules and homework and activities. The last thing you need to deal with or worry about is your HVAC. So let Busy Bee do that for you with big savings. Now, here in the month of August, this month, you schedule any HVAC maintenance or repair, and you get a free dryer vent cleaning. That's added safety and one less thing that you've got to worry about. If you need a new HVAC system, buy a high-efficiency unit, and you'll be entered to win Busy Bee's Healthy Hive giveaway. That is a $1,500 sponsorship for the local school of your choice. You can also gift your favorite teacher or staff member a Beehive membership. Always love the community involvement of my friends at Busy Bee. You can also get a $500 gift card with qualifying whole home repipes or mainline replacements. And with approved credit, enjoy 0% financing for 18 months. Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. Call them at 615-775-7833, 615-775-7833. Visit them online, busybeehvac.com.
Got a problem in Talbot's Corner this morning. It's on 24 eastbound at the I-65 area, a crash, and some traffic is off to the shoulder there. Antioch, a crash on 24 west at Hickory Hollow Parkway. Watch it. And Ashland City, a stalled out tractor trailer. It's in the ditch in front of the Cash Saver on South Main Street, north of Elm. Watch it there. Also this morning, if you're traveling in Burwood, 840 westbound between Carter's Creek Pike and Pinewood Road, there is also a crash in that area. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.636 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Welcome on into Nashville's Morning News. The Super Text line is open. 615-737-9986. Matthew Hurt, our grassroots political analyst, is joining us. Matthew, how are you?
Doing pretty great, Dan. Just taking a look at these primary and general election results from Tennessee last night.
I do want to get to that, but I don't want to get too far away from the comment that I just made, because some people did react to it. Some people negatively, some people positively. But, you know, what I said, CNN had this graphic up, and it said that Donald Trump told Punchbowl News that people are angry at Republicans. Without even hearing the audio, I can tell you he's probably talking about the SAVE Act. But I also think that the president does need to understand that people are upset with him, too, because of the war in Iran and the, gas prices that are still too high and so forth. And so I get why people would think that I'm sort of betraying Donald Trump. First of all, I'm loyal to no politician. And if I'm upset with Donald Trump, I'm going to say so, along with the many, 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 many times that I have praised the president as well. But I think that's a fair statement to make. Last night at our event at Hop Springs, I had people, asking me, kind of rolling their eyes and frustrated, when do you think the war in Iran will be over? I mean, I wish I knew, but I think the president, he's got to understand that people are frustrated with the war.
Well, Dan, I think you're absolutely right. Support for the war in Iran is hovering at about 32%. And so even if you were to split out Republicans from the total, you're only going to get about 60 to 70% support for what's going on in Iran among Republicans. So it is okay to support the president. It is also okay to question the policies and how those will play out in an election cycle. And so what's going on in Iran is leading to higher gas prices. There are some inflationary impacts that impact groceries and supply lines. And for many people, as we get into late August and September into October, the people who tune in late in the cycle are going to think about these issues. They're not going to think necessarily about what's going on in Washington, D.C. They're going to think about how politicians impact their bottom line and their pocketbook. And so there's no doubt in my mind that Iran is wildly unpopular among Democrats, but it is also there's a sticking point among some segment of Republicans, and it would be foolish to ignore that. It would be absolutely foolish to ignore that.
All right, real quick. Of course, we all now know that Marsha Blackburn won the Republican nomination for governor last night. So if you want to talk about some percentages, this is what I have. I don't know if this has changed. Blackburn, 43.4% of the vote. John Rose, 32.9% of the vote. Monty Fritz got 23.4% of the vote. That's what I had earlier this morning. I don't know if that's changed.
That's about where it is. I think in this three-way primary, Monty Fritz did outkick his coverage. I think that is if the Monty Fritz supporters out there are looking for silver lining, I think he performed much better than the polls expected, much better than the way these three-way primaries tend to play out. But, you zoom out and you say, well, Marsha only got about 43.5%. What would have happened if this would have been a one-to-one race of Marsha Blackburn versus one challenger? Although the difference between, say, John Rose and Monty Fritz, John Rose, I think if I were to sum up his portfolio, his philosophy, or the kinds of voters who would be attracted to him, it would be people who voted for maybe Bill Lee, strongly supported Bill Lee, or even Bill Haslam, the former governor, while Monty Fritz's supporters did come from, I would say, the quote-unquote conservative grassroots, those anti-establishment activists who obviously are very enthusiastic about voting against whomever the incumbent or the establishment candidate is. This is a really interesting race with Marsha at 43.5%. But also, if you look at the statewide election, the primary turnout for both, Republicans nearly doubled. Their turnout was nearly double what the Democrats' turnout was statewide.
Let me ask you, because this came up last night during our election night coverage. So let's say that Monty Fritz never ran in this race. So then you've got Blackburn versus Rose. Well, I think you could make the argument, more so for Blackburn than Rose, but you could make the argument that they are somewhat similar politicians, right? So Fritz comes into the race and he completely changes the entire dynamic. So I think if Fritz never gets into the race, I still think that Blackburn would have had a good chance of winning, because I think that what Monty Fritz did is he really brought out the fact that both of these candidates, Rose and Blackburn, they are very traditional politicians. If it's just Blackburn and Rose, it's just a completely different race, and I think that Blackburn still has a very good chance of winning.
Well, you're absolutely right, and if you were to eliminate, the John Rose, Monty Fritz population of voters, do not automatically coalesce again in favor of one or the other if one of those candidates doesn't run. And I do think that there are voters who voted in the primary for their chosen candidate who maybe would not have voted in the primary if their chosen candidate hadn't won, or there is a segment of the John Rose population or the Monty Fritz population that would have voted for Marsha had their preferred candidate not run. So it isn't a one-to-one. It's not like if the candidate doesn't appear on the ballot and we travel back in time, all of those people's vote go directly to one other candidate. There's a little bit of nuance. People use a wide range range of deciding factors when making a primary election choice, and it would be unfair to Marcia to say that this 55% of people who voted for one of the other two candidates, John Rose or Monty Fritz, would have coalesced around a single challenger if that primary were a two-candidate race.
Do you know what nerds like you and I will talk about and think about is, okay, so if it was just Blackburn versus just Rose, or if it's just Blackburn versus just Monty Fritz, would Monty Fritz have beat Marcia Blackburn, and would John Rose have beaten Marcia Blackburn? Personally, and you may think I'm all wet on this, but I think that if it was just Monty Fritz and Marcia Blackburn, I think Monty would have had a better shot at beating Blackburn because he is such a far different candidate than John Rose. I think Blackburn would have had a better shot at beating Rose, but I think that Fritz would have had a better shot at beating Blackburn than a John Rose.
You know, and I think that is exactly something that we would talk about, and it's an interesting exercise in trying to figure out the art side of political science. You know, what decisions do voters make when they go in and select a candidate in a primary?
All right, real quick, we asked on the Daily Dan poll for you, John Rose, Monty Fritz supporters, waking up this morning. You've got to make a decision. Will you support Marcia Blackburn in the general election? Sam, what do those numbers show?
78% say yes, that they would vote for Blackburn in the general. 22% say no.
There's a far from scientific poll from yours truly. More with Matthew Hurt coming up next. It is 6:45. Time to check the roads on WTN.
Antioch, 24 westbound at Hickory Hollow Parkway. We've got reports of an accident. Watch for delays. Talbot's Corner, 24 eastbound at the 65 on the right shoulder. Burwood, 840 westbound. A crash between Carter's Creek Pike and Pinewood Road. I'm Christy O'Brien.
As far as your forecast for today, some sun this morning, turning mostly cloudy and humid. High around 92 this afternoon. Chance of afternoon showers or thunderstorms. Saturday, scattered storms and a high of 88. Sunday, partly cloudy and a high of 92. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7. Matthew Hurt, our grassroots political analyst, is joining us. Matthew, let's talk about the 5th. So were you surprised that Andy Ogles, and we're going to get into some of the details here, but just, first blush, were you surprised that Andy Ogles lost the primary to Charlie Hatcher?
I can't say that I was surprised totally. And what happened, there are two districts in this in Tennessee that people should look at going into November. And it's the 5th district where only 18% of voters from the 2024 election were in the new 5th district. So this is a concern. When the General Assembly redistricted the congressional districts to crack Memphis and to make the 9th district more Republican, it had to move other districts around. And so if you voted in the 5th district primary this year, there is an 80% chance that you were not in the 5th district 2 years ago. And so Andy Ogles, though the district is still Republican, Andy Ogles' incumbency advantage, which works in most elections for members of the House of Representatives and for Congress and all the way down ballot, he didn't have that incumbent advantage at all. And then there were layers of scandal and questions and other things. And in the previous election, Ogles, the race was much closer than expected. And so there are two elements at play here. I think that there are a number of things that Andy didn't do to benefit himself, the issues that he was dealing with, but also only one in five primary voters had voted for Andy in a previous election. So 4 out of 5, 80% of primary voters had never voted for Andy Ogles, and they were introduced to Hatcher as a candidate, and they made their decision in that way.
So we've been talking about this group, Invest in Tomorrow. They spent $2 million to primary Ogles, $1.3 million against Ogles, and then $700,000 for Hatcher. And, it's a super PAC, so Hatcher had nothing to do with it. So the question is this group Invest in Tomorrow, and I think we talked about this earlier this week, but for people that missed it, So this is a super PAC. We don't really know a whole lot about them. They also were successful in driving out Chip Roy in Texas. But is this a Republican group? Is this a Democrat group? And they ultimately think that, the Charlie Hatcher will be an easier defeat for Chaz Mulder, who is the Democrat nominee?
The question here, and this is happening just down I-65 in Alabama, in states where Republicans have large majorities and they win in congressional districts with 15, 20, 25% of the vote, that margin, what you're going to find is these kinds of super PACs, which may or may not, I don't know the campaign finance for this organization, may or may not be left of center or moderate. They're going to start playing in Republican primaries. In Alabama, just down 65, the teachers union plays almost exclusively in Republican primaries because the primary has the effect of being the general election. Whoever comes out of the Republican primary is very likely going to win in November. So people should be paying attention to what kinds of groups are spending money. I know they spent probably upwards of $2 million. And that's a question worth asking and a question worth parsing through as you look at the results. I think it is likely that either moderate elements or Democrat elements funded that operation, and then the voters make decisions. I mean, voters see ads, they receive mailers, they get text messages, and there's a wide range of amount of education and time that voters spend getting to know the candidates and the facts in the race, and they make their decisions based on that. So spending in those primaries for organizations like this is going to be interesting, and it may swing some of these races.
So if you were to look back and maybe do an autopsy, as they say, on the time that Andy Ogles spent in the House of Representatives, where do you think that he went wrong?
Tough question, Dan. And look, Andy's a friend of mine. He did great work when he was doing grassroots activism there in Tennessee before he got elected to county mayor and to Congress. I like Andy a lot.
I do too.
I think there were some unforced errors. It's unfortunate, some of the investigation stuff and some of the probably mishandled social media communications that gave most Republicans an opportunity to say, who's the other person in this race. But you can't discount the fact that 4 out of 5 primary voters in that race had never voted for Andy before. The other thing, Dan, is in the 9th district, which Republicans drew to pick up. It remains to be seen. That could still be a leans Republican district, but the vote margins among the Democrat primary and the Republican primary are very close. So if we have an election in November where the voters are very upset with Republicans for a number of reasons, it would have been a waste of the General Assembly's energy and, in fact, of moving some of these district lines around if the 9th district stays in the hands of the Democrats.
So, could we see, and I was thinking about this, could we actually see a situation where Justin Pearson, who people love out there in Memphis, ends up beating Brent Taylor, and we could possibly maybe lose the 5th because the Democrats are really gunning for the 5th congressional district as well? Could we actually see a situation where we lose both of those districts?
I'm not willing to predict that yet, but in Rutherford County, in Murfreesboro, Smyrna, and Laverne, Democrats picked up, I think, 5 county commission districts. They previously held 2 county commission seats, and they will now hold 7. And so in counties with a balance of rural and suburban, like Rutherford and other places, you're going to see, and you have seen, Democrats put a concerted effort. I know those statewide Democrats were in Rutherford County campaigning for Democrat county commission candidates. So they've invested in candidate recruitment at the local level, which is going to drive up turnout. So you may very well see closer races than we would like in places like the 9th district and the 5th district, where voters have an option at the most local level, and that drives out turnout.
All right, one last unfinished piece of business, I believe, is who will Marsha Blackburn choose to replace her in the Senate? Two names keep coming up: Glenn Jacobs and Tim Burchett. What do you think? And who am I missing?
I like both of those guys, and for a guy from Middle Tennessee who thinks most East Tennessee Republicans are squishy moderates, I would be very happy with either Tim Burchett or Glenn Jacobs. They are doing excellent work. I mean, Tim has long been a force in Tennessee politics back when he was in the State House and State Senate in the 90s and early 2000s, and Glenn Jacobs is somebody I've known for a long time, and I'm so proud that they have been elected to office and they're doing the right thing by the voters, and so I would be pleased with either of those individuals.
Listen, if Glenn Jacobs can put Mike Johnson in like a headlock and body slam him, I think that'd be a good thing.
Certainly makes for great television.
Throw John Thune through a wall. I think that'd be good too. All right, I'm not advocating for violence. I'm just kidding. All right, very good.
But that said, Dan, if I can have another 30 seconds of this, like Glenn Jacobs, of course, he's national fame from WWE, but the guy he's elected the Knox County mayor, and he does the work at the local level. It's how are the schools, are the roads paved, is my community safe? And Glenn Jacobs has taken a small L libertarian ideology. He's channeled it through America First and MAGA, and he's been an effective executive out there. I can't praise Glenn Jacobs highly enough for what he's done with Knox County.
It's an embarrassment of riches, if you will. This came up last night, and just very quickly, but so does Marsha Blackburn, there's got to be a lot of behind-the-scenes wrangling going on, right? So Glenn Jacobs or Tim Burchett, is this a kind of a situation where maybe there's some back-channel conversations with John Thune and the leadership in the Senate and say, okay, so I've got these two people. Do you have an opinion on either one of these? Do they actually do that and talk to leadership about that?
There may be a bit of that. Obviously, Tim Burchett has a portfolio in the House of Representatives where Glenn Jacobs doesn't. So he has friends and maybe not friends. I hesitate to call them enemies, but friends and people who would not, throw their support behind him. But Tennessee does have an embarrassment of riches, and they've tended to have a gentleman's agreement, Republican candidates, since they began winning elections statewide, that they wouldn't, Marsha didn't run against Lamar Alexander in the primary. Republicans have never scooted into a primary against an incumbent. And now we're in the situation where there are so many Republicans, voters have so many options, and that is Republican voters have so many options, and that's not a bad thing.
All right, 6:56. We are wrapping up. Matthew Hurt, how can people follow you on X?
I'm on X at Matthew Hurt, MattheWHurtt.
All right. Thank you very much. We'll talk to you again probably next week. And Joan has the news coming up at 7. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here, the nomination of Todd Blanche for Attorney General just got a little more murky. We'll tell you what's going on at 7 and Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning, 7 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn winning the GOP nomination for governor last night. Channel 4 Steve Mailing was at the watch party in Knoxville with Blackburn for her victory speech.
Everything she said tonight was as advertised. And for Tennessee conservatives, it's exactly what you'd want to hear. The fight against biological men and women's sports, taxes, protecting Tennessee land, and of course, immigration. It was all there. And her fight now in November is against Memphis's own Jerry Green, who for the first time, both major parties have a woman nominee for governor. And hear what Marsha Blackburn said about the fight ahead.
Because the Democrats are just not running on different policies. The Democrats are running to destroy our state and our nation. We cannot let them get one smidge of momentum in the great state of Tennessee.
Now, as for the count, Blackburn took 43% of the vote, John Rose second with 33%, and Monty Fritz 23% of the vote. Congressman Andy Ogles has been defeated in the primary for Tennessee's 5th congressional district. He was beaten by dairy farmer Charlie Hatcher by roughly 6 percentage points. He spoke to News 2 last night after the win.
It feels good. It's like winning a championship football game in high school.
Hatcher is going to face Democrat Chaz Mulder in November. Happening this morning, Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski says she is going to vote against Todd Blanche for Attorney General, further endangering his confirmation. Now, once again, she joins Susan Collins of Maine to oppose the Trump agenda. With Senator Mitch McConnell still in medical recovery and Democrats poised to fully vote against him, it'll take only one more Republican to kill the nomination. TBI issuing a silver alert for a man last seen last weekend in Nashville. 74-year-old Sylvester Hines was spotted last Saturday near Drexel Street. He had been staying at a downtown shelter, and organizers there say that he left his belongings behind. Now, Hines is a black man, 5'11", weighing 125 pounds. He has gray hair, was last seen wearing black sweatpants and a red T-shirt. Hines has dementia, so there's a great deal of concern for his safety. Market numbers brought to you by Beacon Capital Management online at beaconcm.com. And futures are pointing up. The Dow futures plus 70, NASDAQ futures up 154, S&P futures are gaining 18 points. That's the latest news. We've got traffic and weather ahead. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Hey, it's Dan Mandis from Super Talk.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's Matt Murphy with Super Talk 99.7 WTN. And this morning, we are out and about at my house, my brand new house that I've been talking about on the radio, with Nate from USS. What's up, brother? How are you?
I'm excellent. How about you?
I'm doing well. Good. We invited Nate out. Now, obviously, when you're a new homeowner, especially when you buy a house that's got a few years on it, you don't know what you're dealing with in terms of foundation. And I know that Nate knows a lot more about what I don't see and what I don't know about than I do. So bring the experts out and get them to check out your house. Hey guys, Matt Murphy again with Nate with USS, and Nate has just wrapped up kind of a look at the house. And Nate, what'd you find?
Well, your house is in pretty good shape for the age of it. I had to look pretty hard to find it.
Okay.
Your house being on a slope like it is here, I think we could do a lot of good by trying to terminate your downspouts a little further from the house there.
Okay.
Roof water is the killer of foundations, and so if we can just get it to a positive grade to drain away from your house, I think that's real cheap insurance.
You want to kind of get it out and downhill.
That's right. Yeah.
That's
So
the idea.
make sure that it doesn't come right back down towards the foundation walls, causing issues, settlement, or leakage.
Now, if folks are watching this video and they are like, we need to get Nate out to the house to do a look. I mean, it took, I watched you do it. It's, what, 30, 45 minutes, something like that.
Yeah.
To do a comprehensive kind of an examination around the house. And they just give you a call and schedule?
Yeah, absolutely. You can call our main phone number, or you can call reach USSTN.com and schedule right through the website there. Our girls in the call center will
Okay, watch yourself in Antioch on 24 westbound, right at Hickory Hollow Parkway, exit number 60. There's a crash. It's off to the left shoulder now, but that left shoulder is blocked off. Brentwood, a crash on Concord Road at I-65. Ashland City, it's a stalled out tractor trailer on South Main Street, north of Elm Street. And by the way, the Tomato Arts Festival is taking place this weekend. You can expect some road closures around the 5 Points area. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.706 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Good morning to your friends. Hope you are doing well, and welcome on in to Nashville's Morning News for a Thank the Lord. It is Friday. A lot to talk about. So in the very, very beginning of the show, I played a bunch of audio bites of Marsha Blackburn and her victory speech last night as she won the primary for the Republicans. So I'm going to go ahead and play some of these audio bites again. I think that she had a lot of really good things to say. By the way, people are asking why no video today. I don't even think I've shown one video today. After the event last night, very successful event, by the way. Thank you to everybody who shows up, and thank you to the people at Hop Springs and the sponsors. But I didn't go home, and so I just came right here. We still don't have any TV video editing equipment here at the radio station, so everything is audio today, so I apologize. But for people that have been asking, you can stop that. I'm not asking people to feel sorry for us because we don't have the video editing equipment. It's all fine, well, and good.
We could start a GoFundMe.
Do you know we could start a GoFundMe? Do you know what the great thing about this?
No, you know what? It would be Give, Send, Go. Sorry. Give, Send, Go.
Do you know what the great thing is, though, Joan, about this audience?
What's that?
We would have the computer and the editing equipment within 5 minutes.
Yeah, we would.
I mean, that's the thing that's what I love about the people that listen to this radio station. We met them last night at the event.
And see, the thing is, if that happened, it still wouldn't shame the management.
Anyway, so all I'm saying is that...
Delicate dance around the subject.
No, shut up, Joan. What are you trying to do to me? No, we love management. That's all great. It's all well and good.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of stuff that they need to pay for around here, and our video editing equipment that I asked for 2 years ago is not one of them, and it's all fine because I've got all the equipment at home, and usually I come in and I'm able to do it. But I stayed at the Holiday Inn last night, Joan.
You
so
did?
it's been
Dan,
a rough 24 hours.
How long did you stay at the Holiday Inn?
Total about 3 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't get a lot of
That's
sleep.
enough to pick up something.
Like bed bugs?
Yeah.
It's very clean. It's all fine, well, and good. Anyway, we're going to move on. Nobody cares. Senator Marsha Blackburn wins the Republican nomination for governor. This is some of what she had to say last night.
Thank you, Tennessee. And absolutely, I am so honored, humbled, grateful to accept your Republican nomination for the office of governor of the state of Tennessee.
It was a raucous crowd. A lot of folks very happy for Marsha Blackburn. And as we've been talking about, in case you're just joining us, the senator got 43.4% of the vote. John Rose, 32.9% of the vote. Monty Fritz got 23.4% of the vote. I do believe that Monty outkicked his coverage. I think that Monty did a great job with his campaign. When you look at, we should do this. I'm not smart enough to do the math. Sam, you're smarter than me. Just ask you. So is there a way to figure out?
Depends on the subject.
If there's
things I don't understand, like how do you plan for retirement or, what does it look like when you start checking out Medicare? I don't know those things.
Okay, that's enough.
So listen.
Move on.
Oh, I see what he was doing.
Yeah.
Okay, good, Sam. Age shaming the host. Good. Who's very tired? Is there a way to figure out? And MPL, if you're listening, I know that you can figure this out too. So, how many how much did John Rose spend on his campaign, and then the fact that he got 235,433 votes. Who spent more per vote on their campaign? John Rose or Monty Fritz? Because Monty Fritz had, Joan, you know this, he had diddly squat for money. And so I'm curious as to who spent more per vote, Monty Fritz or John Rose. I'm just curious. Oh, AI could figure this out. By the way, Joan, did you see the story out there? Maybe we'll do this at 8:35. Did you see the story real quick about AI creating viruses? I
did not see that.
That is terrifying. Oh, yeah, it's a story. You know, I'll try to get to it before the show is over. So now they've got AI creating viruses that we've never had before. Because, you know, what could go wrong?
Oh my
so
gosh.
I think that's it.
I've got the numbers.
Do you really?
I'm dead serious.
Okay. So go
He's
ahead.
resourceful, Dan.
You know what? Take the next 1 minute of this radio program with a boulder of salt. Go ahead, Sam.
All right. This has all been sourced information. It's using the near final results of 98% of the votes in and the latest available candidate committee expenditure totals. John Rose spent the most by far per vote among the three Republican primary candidates, spent a total of $14,313,000 on his campaign for 235,393 votes, approximately $60.81 per vote. Marsha Blackburn, $8 million, 310,231 votes at $25.93 per vote. Monty Fritz, $287,756 for 167,094 votes, coming out to $1.72 per vote.
Oh, my goodness gracious. All right, so I want to make sure we get, according to, was that AI?
I mean, it was all grokked.
All right, so...
Again, unofficial totals in the vote counts. That's just what's been
forget
reported.
about all that. So Rose, $60 per vote.
Yeah.
Blackburn, how much per vote?
$25.93. So we can call it 26.
26, and Monty Fritz $1.60.
$1.72.
$1.72. All right, there you go.
In this economy, the 12 cents makes a difference.
I'm telling you what, if Monty had some money behind him, I think he'd do really well. So now the question is, where will those Rose and Fritz voters go? And I thought the senator did a good job of trying to bring those people on board and talk about unity.
So to anyone who is watching this and supported another candidate, I invite you, come join our team.
So thus far, the super text line of the many people that listen to this radio station who are Monty Fritz supporters, a lot of them have said that they would go over to the dark side, as they would describe it, and they would support Marsha Blackburn. They will support the party. The Daily Dan poll is exactly the same question. And what are people saying?
We are reaching 80% of pollsters saying yes, they would vote for Blackburn in the general election.
Okay, I like that.
Yeah,
I think that's what we need to do.
It's a sensible thing to do.
Well, it is. And, Jerry Green, we're talking about all of the things that she stands for. And, I mean, it's obviously all the stupid. It's all the stupid stuff.
I think honestly, out of all of her, day one promises, stopping the cooperation with ICE through the highway patrol would be the most detrimental and obviously the most deadly thing she could do to Tennesseans.
If you want Tennessee, and this is what I try to tell folks, if you want Tennessee to stop doing all of the things that have made Tennessee great, especially with the help of Donald Trump and, Memphis and what they did out there in Memphis, and of course, cooperating with ICE and all of the things that our state legislature has done to work with the Trump administration on getting illegal aliens out of our state. I mean, just don't vote for Marsha Blackburn, and that'll essentially, I don't know, do you agree with that statement, Sam and Joan and people? Do you agree that if you don't vote for Marsha Blackburn or you don't vote, is that a vote for Jerry Green?
Yep.
I see that as a vote for Jerry Green.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Okay, we all see that as a vote for Jerry Green?
Don't stay home in November, people.
No, don't stay home in November. Just don't. A couple of other things that the senator said last night, talking about what she'd love to do here in the state of Tennessee.
All every election is important, and this one especially so, that is coming up in November, because the Democrats are just not running on different policies. The Democrats are running to destroy our state and our nation. We cannot let them get one smidge of momentum in the great state of Tennessee.
One of the things that I liked that she said, and her speech, it was, I thought, very well written, is when she said, we will not let our state become like those Democrat-run states that are an absolute disaster.
And we are not going to let the Democrats take that away from us. And as your governor, I will not allow Tennessee to become New York or California.
Got a couple more sound bites for you. Senator Marsha Blackburn accepting the nomination for the Republican Party for the governorship for the state of California. I did it. I knew I was going to do it. I said the state of California. I almost did it earlier. I'm tired. I almost did that earlier and I caught myself, but now I did it. Doggone it.
I'm going to do it.
Yeah, apparently I did it. It is 7:16. Time to check the roads on WTN. Not really. It's 7:17, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Should we have that, Sam, as another Daily Dan poll? Because clearly, vast majority of Fritz and Rose supporters will support Marsha Blackburn. So let's ask the question of folks. So what's their opinion? If you don't vote in November for Marsha Blackburn, if you stay home, is that a vote for Jerry Green? I'm just curious as to what people think. Because some people would say no. As far as your weather goes, some sun this morning, turning mostly cloudy and humid, high around 92, chance of afternoon showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. On Saturday, scattered thunderstorms and a high of 88. Sunday, partly cloudy and a high of 92. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Just going through some of the relevant audio from Marsha Blackburn's speech last night. She had a lot of, my opinion is that she had a lot of great things to say. She also spoke about one of the things that both her opponents attacked her on, the local economy and bringing businesses to Tennessee from outside our state.
We are going to keep attracting and growing good paying jobs. We're going to do this by supporting local companies that are ready to grow and by being smart about the businesses that we're recruiting to our state.
Yeah, and she came out in favor of course, the Freedom Scholarships. And a lot of this stuff, if you listen to my interview with Senator Blackburn or other interviews, you know that her speech last night was very consistent with what she has been doing in the Senate, in the House of Representatives before that, in the state legislature before that, and on the campaign trail. No cell phones in schools is a relatively new one that she's supporting. No men in women's sports or spaces. She did come out in favor of the scholarships, of course, building the infrastructure we need to support the local economy, including data centers, supporting law enforcement, and ensuring that we continue to carry out executions with Tennessee's death penalty. So there's a lot of things that she said in this speech, including one of my favorites.
And I will continue to work with President Trump and his administration to be sure we deport every single illegal alien.
I mean, that got, of course, as you can imagine, a big round of applause. There was, by the way, last night, from what I understand, it was like a who's who of the elite in Tennessee political culture, I guess, because a lot of politicians in this state, a lot of people that, work with politicians. And there's a lot of people there last night, including Glenn Jacobs and Tim Burchett. And there are a lot of folks out there who will say, you know what, one of those two needs to be the next senator. By the way, some people are saying, because Senator Blackburn now has to appoint whoever she wants to finish her Senate term. Some people saying Andy Ogles, since he's out of a gig now. Should Andy Ogles?
That would be amazing.
So
be very interesting.
It would be. I don't think that's going to happen, just based on what I know about the Republican Party. But
isn't Burchett running for re-election in his district?
Yeah. Well,
So
we talked about that last night, actually. So
it's going to end up being Jacobs, what it sounds like.
It all depends, and I'm a little fuzzy on all this, but I think I do believe that it'll be Glenn Jacobs. I'm sorry, Tim Burchett, I love you, but I think that it'll be Glenn Jacobs. I think that Burchett does a lot of really good things in the House of Representatives, and so I think that he is, at least for right now, probably where he's going to stay. But we'll have to wait and see. Tim Burchett has done a lot of really, really good things. I think that he's going to continue to do good things. Now, if she ultimately, though, decided to appoint someone, then, the general election isn't until November. Could somebody jump in? I should have asked Matthew Hurt this question. Then somebody would have to jump in and say, okay, we're running. Of course, Google that or find out, okay, so what would the process be if, I think it's cleaner to just have Glenn Jacobs do it, but whatever. She also talked about illegals in Nashville and Memphis.
We do know it makes our communities less safe. It drives down wages, and it takes your jobs, and it makes just about everything more expensive. And we're going to make certain that every city realizes that in Tennessee you cannot have sanctuary cities or sanctuary city policies. And yes, to the Metro Nashville City Council and Mayor Freddie, I hope you understand that.
There you go. I love that she calls out Mayor Freddie. I absolutely love that she called out Mayor Freddie. So what we're trying to figure out is, okay, so if Marsha Blackburn designates Tim Burchett, Congressman Tim Burchett, to finish her term in the Senate, you have Tim Burchett, who is running for re-election. I'm assuming he won his primary last night. So then what happens to his seat, his district in Knoxville? I'm assuming that somebody else would jump in, but we're already past the primary. So what would happen? Does it say on the internet?
So Tennessee Code 216-101 provides a successor is elected at the next regular November election and serves the remainder of the unexpired term. If the vacancy would leave Tennessee without full representation while Congress is in session, the governor appoints someone to fill the seat temporarily until the elected successor is qualified.
All right. So and I think states have their own unique policies as far as what would happen. So I don't know. We'll see. Do you know what? Maybe that's a Daily Dan poll too. Who would you want to be the next senator? Oh, that's a good one. Tim Burchett or Glenn Jacobs?
And here's the thing: is it depends on the timing.
Put Andy Ogles in there too.
If the resignation happens after she's sworn in, she would make the appointment. But if it happens after she wins the election, but before she's sworn in, well, then Governor Lee would make the appointment.
That's all going to be coordinated. I mean, obviously. So, all right, we got to go. 7:24. Joan's got the news coming up at 7:30. Joan.
Yeah, coming up here at 7:30, we'll take a rundown of the Republican candidates and their wins and losses from last night. Stick around, 7:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Download the WTN app and listen live. Catch breaking news and stay connected anytime. On the Super Talk 99.7 WTN app.
7:25 on Nashville's Morning News. Window Nation, if you're thinking about replacing your air conditioning, you need to check out your windows first because drafty windows force your AC to work overtime. New windows from Window Nation, they're going to help you keep your home comfortable and reduce the strain on your HVAC. Now, right now, here in the month of August, they have a great deal going on from my friends at Window Nation. They can help you get new energy-efficient windows at a great price. You could get 50% off all window styles. You could get 0 down payment and no payments or interest for 2 years. You need to go to windownation.com to check it out for yourself. They got an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau, 96% customer satisfaction rating, and over 45,000 five-star reviews. That is why I absolutely love my friends at Window Nation. Other thing, they're proud partners of the Wounded Warrior Project. So many great reasons to like Window Nation. One of the big ones is the savings. And right now, in the month of August, you could get 50% off all window styles. You could get 0 down payment and no payments or interest for 2 years. Tell them Dan Mandis told you to reach out, windownation.com.
Good morning, 7:30. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. And our top story, of course, this morning is the primary win for Tennessee U.S. Senator Marsha Blackburn, defeating John Rose and Monty Fritz to represent the GOP in November. Here's a bit of her speech after the call was made last night.
Our work is much bigger than any one candidate or one campaign. We absolutely have to unite as a party and defeat the Democrats in November.
And now in the 4th congressional district, Scott Desjardins easily defeating his opponents for the Republican nod, winning with 66% of the vote. He'll face Democrat Victoria Broderick in November. Charlie Hatcher unseated Andy Ogles in the 5th, winning 53 to 47%. Hatcher faces Democrat Chaz Mulder in the fall. Johnny Garrett picks up the win in the 6th, defeating Van Hillary and John Henry. Garrett is going to face Democrat Mike Crowley in November. And in the 9th district, Brent Taylor took home the nomination over Todd Warner and Jeremy Thompson. Now, Taylor is facing Democrat Justin Pearson in the general. Pearson won last night with 66% of the Democratic vote. In other news, the investigation into yesterday's shootout between ATF agents and 2 people suspected of selling guns illegally, it's still underway. News 2's Alicia Wemberly has some details.
The shooting took place at a storage facility off Thompson Lane near Landers Avenue. Agents with the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms, and Explosives came to the storage unit to investigate the illegal sale of firearms when someone started shooting at them. Those agents returned fire and 2 people were killed. The 2 people who died were not law enforcement officers.
TBI stayed on the scene. They say it is secure. There is no danger to the public. That is the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 7:33. By the way, Jonathan Fahey is coming up. I don't know if you folks heard, but President Trump has now signed an executive order of some sort, or an order to limit U.S. birthright citizenship despite the Supreme Court ruling. That is the Reuters headline. We'll find out the details and some analysis from Jonathan Fahey coming up on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Why should you go to Brentwood Jewelry for all your jewelry needs? Well, why not? I mean, Brentwood Jewelry, they are incredible. They are, simply put, the best in Middle Tennessee. They've got incredible selections of watches for both men and women for any budget, and great selections of Rolexes, both new and used. If pocket knives are your thing, by the way, they do feature the William Henry collection. Guy last night showed me his William Henry pocket knife. It was incredible. So if you're getting engaged, Brentwood Jewelry, they've got everything from wedding bands to semi-mount engagement rings and a whole lot more. And guys, if you're looking for something for that special lady in your life, they feature bracelets and earrings and necklaces and a whole lot more. And again, all at great prices and selection, outstanding customer service. Brentwood Jewelry, they love America just like we do. You walk in, you've got flags all over the place. WTN might very well be playing on the radio. 7012 Church Street East, located in the heart of Brentwood, just off Franklin Road. Be sure and tell him Dan Mandis did indeed tell you to reach out. Exceptional styles, exceptional deals every day for over 50 years. BrentwoodJewelry.com. Times are tough. Absolutely, I agree. Now, if you need a new truck or a minivan, maybe an SUV, Mid-10 Ford, they can help you out with great selection, terrific pricing as well. Mid-10 Ford, they've been around for 56 years, since 1969, helping people get the vehicle that is right for them. They can help you save $1,000 or more on select Ford trucks. They also offer special financing as well if you need it. Now, Mid-10 Ford, I like to say that they're a one-stop shop. You can buy your vehicle there at Mid-10 Ford. You can get it serviced. They have a body shop as well. So you want a brand new or a pre-owned vehicle, you can check out all of the great deals at their website, mid10fordtrucks.com. That's mid10fordtrucks.com. They offer low-pressure sales, maximum customer service if you show up at their business, 1319 Foster Avenue. This is a family-owned business going back 4 generations. So, yeah, they do know how to treat customers. So let them help you get into your next vehicle. Again, low-pressure sales, maximum customer service. Find them online, mid10fordtrucks.com. That's mid10fordtrucks.com. Let their family take care of your family.
Okay. Okay, in Antioch on 24 westbound, you've got an accident still blocking the left lane at Hickory Hollow Parkway, exit 60. Also, Ashland City, a stalled out tractor trailer, South Main Street, north of Elm Street, and in Tucker's Crossroads, an accident on 40, the eastbound side past Linwood Road. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$7:38 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Text line is open, very active today. Thank you very much. By the way, watch us on YouTube, like and subscribe. It is very important. So if you would, find us on YouTube. You can watch us any time of the day or night. If you miss part of the show, I continue to say, and by the way, Joan, you'll love this.
What's that?
Sam, you might be semi-interested. So a couple of people, believe it or not, because, I always say my 5 o'clock hour is my favorite hour.
Yeah.
Today's 5 o'clock hour, I'm not going to lie, it was a little rough because my voice wasn't waking up and didn't have a lot of sleep. But, people actually have said, you know what? I do go back and I do listen to the 5 o'clock hour because you do say that it is your favorite hour. And they do like the more relaxed nature of that hour. So go back. If you missed the 5 o'clock hour, go back and listen to it when you can or watch it on YouTube. And
Dan.
What?
They just like to hear you screw up. Come on.
Listen, if that's your thing, if you like to hear me screw up, man, I mean, it's an embarrassment of riches on this show.
Maybe you got to give the people what they want one Friday and just do 4 hours of that. You never know.
Yeah.
What, 4 hours of me screwing up?
Well, no, of the more relaxed hour. You do that anyway.
Or me screwing up. Thanks, Sam. It's so warm and fuzzy around here. Jonathan Fahey is joining us. Jonathan, always great to have you on. I want to play a video for you real quick. We're going to talk about Donald Trump and a couple of executive orders, one of them regarding birthright citizenship. But first, just to point out, Jonathan, the lunacy of the left. You have no doubt heard of this woman, Francesca Hong. Now, a couple of days ago, we played this video and audio where she wanted to cancel like Thanksgiving. I forget exactly why, but no doubt it was racist or whatever. So now it turns out she also, Jonathan, wants to ban Halloween.
What do you have against Halloween?
I just don't. It's kind of. This is. I don't have anything against it. I just don't feel the need to have to participate, and it's fine for kids. This is not a I dislike. I'm not a super fun person.
I mean, good Lord, man. She's not a super fun person. I mean, I don't know. That feels like it would be a pretty simple answer. I mean, what do you have against Halloween? I don't like it because I'm scared of clowns and costumes or whatever. I don't like the calories from the candy. She had nothing, but apparently she hates Halloween. How un-American is that?
Yeah, just such a bizarre candidate in so many respects. You have that. You have the Thanksgiving thing, which actually could have gone over better if she said, I don't like Thanksgiving because I don't like going to my in-laws. I think she could get votes that way. But seriously, she's just so out there. And the craziest thing is when you look at all of these candidates, they're crazy, but they're still mainstream Democrats. She's not really that much of an outlier, with this Thanksgiving's races. That's standard practice these days with the Democrats. And it's just astonishing. It's like every tradition that Americans love, they take down. They have some reason to hate it, to disagree with it, for Halloween. I'm not saying it's the most important thing, but most people think particularly people with kids, it's a really fun day. And just to always rain on the parade is just today's Democratic Party. Everything is negative about America, and they never miss an opportunity to degrade our country, our people, and other things. And that's just today's Democratic Party, which is just, in a way so sad, but it's also a pretty frightening reality.
Well, and the funny thing is, like, she couldn't come up with a reason why she didn't like it. She just knew that she didn't like it. And then she just, her brain melts into, I'm just not a fun person. Real quick. So the president, Donald Trump, this is the headline. I'm going to be honest with you folks. I don't know anything about this story. I was so wrapped up in our own primary elections yesterday. I saw this headline. I knew the guy that I wanted to call, Jonathan Fahey. U.S. President Donald Trump signing 2 executive orders on Thursday in a new but narrower attempt to curtail birthright citizenship, once again challenging a provision of the U.S. Constitution, even though they say the Supreme Court rejected his previous efforts. So basically what the president, Jonathan, from what I am understanding, he's basically trying to find a new path to get in front of the Supreme Court where he would be successful in eliminating birthright citizenship. What is this new executive order?
Yeah, well, this is actually pretty interesting because he's not saying the whole birthright citizenship needs to go out, but he's saying the categories of people that should be exempted from birthright citizenship should be expanded. And he expanded it to basically foreign government employees, to alien enemies, and people there specifically for birth tourism. And remember, even before the Supreme Court ruling and after the Supreme Court ruling, there were exemptions for birthright citizenship. You have diplomats, the children of diplomats, you have the children, if there was like a foreign invasion, those children would not be citizens. And that's been recognized by the Supreme Court. So this idea that you can't, that it has to be that narrow, at least doesn't sync with Justice Kavanaugh's dissent, he basically said Congress can define who's exempt, but it needs to go to Congress. So I think that's still the issue with this order ultimately being successful. But there is, I think 2 benefits of it. One, it keeps the issue at the forefront, which I think is important because if people really think about it, it's insane that we have this. And 2, it's a really good deterrent for people that want to come here for birth tourism or other things to know that, we are cracking down on it. We're going to make it harder. So they may it may not be worth engaging in this type of behavior because it's harder. So people that are running sort of organized crime for birth tourism might not be making any money if the people that want the citizenship don't think it's actually going to work out. So there's definitely a lot of benefits of it. I think it gets in front of a court, and I think it's going to be in the same place as before, that somebody's going to say this should come from a law passed by Congress. But hopefully President Trump can use this to inspire Congress to act on this, because it's perfectly reasonable to say, if you're here for birth tourism, you shouldn't get some benefit, or if you're an alien enemy, meaning you're Trinidad or Ogles, your kid, you don't get to come here and have your kid be a citizen, and that seems inherently reasonable. Or if you're a member of ISIS or something like that. So all of these things are, it's a reasonable approach. They didn't win the big picture, but it's certainly a reasonable approach to take.
Well, it is, and the Supreme Court in their decision on birthright tourism, I was cynical on it just because I'm cynical on a lot of things, but I was really frustrated at that because clearly we know that birthright tourism is wrong, and they need to figure out something on that, and they need to figure it out quick. A couple of other things I want to talk to you about coming up. Jonathan Fahey joining us on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Very quickly, time to check the roads. All right, as far as your weather goes, and by the way, Sam, if you could, just real quick, take the video off of this screen, so I'm not going to play any more video, okay? Okay. As far as your weather goes, it's going to be, kind of a stormy and rainy weekend, as a matter of fact. I kind of like that, though, but some sun this morning, turning mostly cloudy and humid, high around 92. Chance of afternoon showers or thunderstorms. Saturday, scattered thunderstorms and a high of 88. Sunday, partly cloudy and a high of 92. Appreciate you listening to Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN 615-737-9986. So I want to do some local politics. I know that Jonathan, in addition to being focused on a lot of things, legal and law and politics, all that kind of stuff, you do pay attention to Tennessee politics as well. Andy Ogles, we've been reporting all morning long. Very surprising that he lost the primary to Charlie Hatcher. I mean, I know that you're in Virginia, but from your vantage point, were you surprised at that?
I was surprised by that, definitely, and I was, also surprised the closeness of, the governor's race and things like that. And I think it kind of gets back to this point, the Tip O'Neill phrase of all politics is local. I think sometimes when people go to D.C., they focus on the D.C. world as opposed to what's important to the constituents, and sometimes they're not always in sync. But that one definitely surprised me going forward. But again, what people are feeling on the ground isn't always, there is a bubble up here in D.C. where I don't think, I'm not saying this happened with Ogles because I don't definitively know, but it does seem like sometimes they lose the connection that's so important to the people back home.
So here speaking of which, in the 5th Congressional District, that's Ogles District, now we got a guy named Charlie Hatcher. He's a farmer, good guy, good conservative, and he is going to be going against a guy by the name of Chaz Mulder. Now, Chaz is the Columbia mayor, Columbia, Tennessee, here in Middle Tennessee. So I want to play you some audio, and there's a point to all this, but I pulled this off of Chaz's website, and it's part of his commercial. It is audio only.
When I entered this race, I made a promise to fight for the people of the 5th Congressional District, and my mama always taught me to follow through on promises. I'll put Tennessee and my country first. I'll support balanced budgets, tax cuts for the working family, help for our farmers and small businesses, and efforts to grow Main Street businesses in every Tennessee town. I'll also support restoring the cuts to Medicaid and health care that Andy Ogles took away from our most vulnerable population. I'll oppose haphazard tariffs that raise costs and hurt our economy, no matter who's pushing them. And I'll oppose reckless wars that raise gas prices and leave us with another decade of unending warfare in the Middle East. Let's work together with Republicans, Democrats, and Independents to make our democracy stronger and our communities better. That is my commitment and promise to you.
All right, so I love the call for bipartisanship, but, let's be honest, because there's some stuff in there that I actually might agree with, but we can't trust the Democrats after what we saw with Abigail Spanberger.
Right, exactly. At the beginning of it, that was a great Republican ad, right? And that's what it sounded like. But here's what happens. He'll go to Washington, and this guy that campaigned as a moderate is now against, he wants men to be able to play in women's sports. He'll be in favor of an open border. He'll have all of these things because they vote in lockstep, particularly the Democrats. So whatever he says isn't going to make a hill of beans difference once he gets here because the Democrats will be united and he'll fall in line. And Spanberger is the perfect example of you campaign one way and then once you get in, it's sort of like, oh, too late. You don't get a do-over. But ask him about, they should ask him about the open border, the mass amnesty, all of these things, because that's what the Democrats are for, and not people in Tennessee aren't in favor of that. People in Tennessee don't think men should get to play in women's sports other than a very few. But he will be voting with these folks and all the time. And will he disavow will he have the courage to stand up to the Democratic Party? I think that's a big question, and I think it's a high risk for people of Tennessee because when they guess wrong, it's really, really bad. If the Republican they get wrong, well, they still get somebody voting with Republicans, and they know that's generally what they are, the values they support as a general matter.
Well, and I think the Democrats, we know, like Tallarico in Texas, they're doing the same thing in Texas, where Tallarico is running for the Senate there, and they were trying to pass this guy off as a moderate there. And clearly, when you look at his history, you look at the things that he said, he's not a moderate. But remember that they tried to do that with Kamala Harris when she was Joe Biden went away and Kamala Harris was in, and all of a sudden the Democrats and the media trying to paint her as some sort of a moderate, and clearly that was not the case. So for the Democrats, it does seem like it's a means to an end. Just tell them that we're a moderate and we're like the good Democrats. And then when they get into power, their heads, turn around and they start spitting out pea soup.
Oh, exactly. And Tallarico is a great example. I mean, he's sort of like the poor man's Tim Walz, who was, essentially the poor man's Richard Simmons. I mean, it was so insane that like Tallarico cannot pull it off as hard as he tries. But, you're right. They get here and they're in favor of abortion on demand up until the date of birth. They're in favor of all of these things. And the Democrats, with their small tent party, they excommunicate moderates so quickly. Look what happened. Well, look what's happening to Fetterman. That if you try to buck the Democrats, they will ruin you. So this idea that any of these people like a Tallarico would somehow be moderate in the Senate is a complete joke, and I think people need to realize that. The good thing about him is it's almost so bad he can't even pull it off. It's just kind of embarrassing watching him like the blowtorch or drive a truck or something. It just seems beyond bad that it's like you might as well just be who you are, because who you're pretending to be isn't working.
Yep, no, you're right, and we'll leave it there. Always great to have you on. Jonathan Fahey, how can people follow you on X?
On John for Fairfax.
All right, and we'll talk to you probably next week. Always appreciate your analysis. It is 7:53 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Joan has the news coming up at 8. Joan.
Yes, some problematic news about the U.S. economy coming out of the Bureau of Labor Statistics this morning. We've got it for you coming up at 8 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
$7:54, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Of course, a lot of schools back in session this week. And for a lot of you parents, school is back. And guess what? That means that you have some time to work on yourself. You've got some time to work on you again. You can take walks, maybe a few workouts during the week, but why not a trip to one of my favorite places, Contours in Cool Springs? Now, they can help you get rid of those love handles that have been bugging you for years. Now, Contours specializes in red light technology. Now, you know that red light technology, it is all the rage these days. And they have, at Contours, they've got the latest equipment to help you lose that unwanted fat. That's right. That means no downtime, no pain, and yes, it does work. Matt Murphy and I have both been going through our treatments, and we love it, and you will too. So what I want you to do, go check out Contours today. They've got a special price going on right now of just $99 to get you a Belly Buster special. That's right, only $99 for that Belly Buster special. First 10 callers right now, 615-236-9960. You can try it out. And by the way, if you don't lose 2 inches across the middle, it is actually free. First 10 callers right now get it for $99. 615-236-9960. Find them online anytime, contoursllc.com. That's contoursllc.com. Mark Spain Real Estate. Listen, friends, if you are stuck in a home that you cannot sell, call Mark Spain Real Estate. I got to tell you that right now, times are tough if you're trying to sell a house. Mark Spain can make it easier with their guaranteed offer. If your open houses are being ignored, call Mark Spain. If you're tired of making costly repairs while your home goes unsold, again, call Mark Spain. Their guaranteed offer does keep you in control. You're going to get out of your home quickly and with maximum profit. Mark Spain Real Estate has over 72,000 clients. They are the #1 most reviewed real estate company in America. They've got 13,000 5-star reviews. This is the company that I recommend for selling your home. So call them right now. Get out of your home quickly. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. 855-299-SOLD is the phone number. 855-299-SOLD. Online, markspain.com to get a guaranteed offer on your home today. That's markspain.com and start packing. $7:58 Super Talk 99.7 WTN 615-737-9986. So we got Joan, you're going to love this.
Okay.
We have a musician who's going to be in studio with me here in the next couple of minutes. The Freddie Jones Band, the bass player from the Freddie Jones Band. Now, they have an incredible story, and I'm going to save it. I'm not gonna blow the tease. I'm not gonna blow the bit, but he's got such an incredible story, and there's a lot of reasons why I really like this guy, and I just met him. The best part, though, Sam goes to get him from the parking lot.
Yeah.
And what did he say? He's clearly not a listener to WTN. He's a musician.
I said, Dan's excited to have you on and to talk to you. He's ready to take a break from talking elections and politics, and he goes, "Oh, what does this station talk about?" I said, "Hey, man, we talk news."
WTN, we talk news. That's what we do. Anyway, so I'm going to have a great conversation with him. It's going to be about music. It's going to be about the music industry. But he just, again, not to belabor the point, he's got an amazing story that you are going to want to hear. And yeah, I'm tired of talking about politics. So I want to end this Friday with a feel-good story. That's what I want to do.
Oh, I like that.
And that's what this is going to be coming up next on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
The establishment of the Schermerhorn Symphony Center, among other arts initiatives. Good morning. It's 8 o'clock. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. In the newly redrawn 9th Congressional District, a familiar face is going to represent the Democrats. State Representative Justin Pearson easily defeating his opponents in the primary. We've got part of his speech here, his victory speech from last night.
Please don't think to divide us. But you can't divide us.
Yeah, he's going to face Republican Brent Taylor in the November general election. Now, the 9th District saw the biggest changes after redistricting happened earlier this year. It carved up the 9th into 3 separate districts and ended the political career of Democrat Steve Cohen. Longtime Nashville business leader and philanthropist Martha Ingram has died. She played a pivotal role in the establishment of the Schermerhorn Symphony Center, among other arts initiatives in Nashville. Ingram became the CEO of Ingram Industries in 1995 65 after the passing of her husband. Now, throughout her career, Ingram also served on the boards of Vanderbilt University, the Harpeth Hall School, and several publicly traded companies. Money News brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. The U.S. economy unexpectedly lost jobs in July. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reporting that employers cut 23,000 jobs in June. Economists had been expecting that the economy would add 80,000 jobs, so a pretty disappointing report there. Right now, stock futures this morning are still gaining. We've got the Dow futures plus 179. The NASDAQ futures are up 367 now, and the S&P futures are plus 42. That is the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Joan Jones, WTN News.
Thank you, Joan. 8:02 Nashville's Morning News, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Friends, if you have a 2, 3, or 4% mortgage rate, don't refinance it. You don't have to. You can still get cash out of your home courtesy of my friends at Loan Pronto and their zero cost equity loan. That's right. Now with Loan Pronto, you can get all the cash you need without touching your first mortgage and without any fees. Now, one local homeowner just got $100,000, paid off their credit cards, paid off their existing HELOC, remodeled their kitchen, and saved over $1,500 every single month. It does get better, by the way. There's no hard credit pull up front, usually no appraisal, and no long drawn-out process, and no closing costs. You might even be able to skip your next 2 house payments as well. So call Loan Pronto right now. Leave your low-rate mortgage intact, but get the cash you need in as little as 2 weeks without paying closing costs. So call them. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-499-5780. 615-499-5780. See how much you can get right now. LoanPronto.com. That's LoanPronto.com. For qualified homeowners, equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Hey, this is Pastor Allen. Join us on Super Talk 99.7, Sunday evenings from 7 to 8. We're going to look at the news from a biblical perspective.
Got a crash this morning in the West End area. It's West End Avenue at 31st Avenue. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.805 Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Super Text line open 615-737-9986. 615-737 WWTN. I've been looking forward to this all day for a couple of reasons. Number one, because it is an incredible story. Yeah. And number two, we've been ODing on politics lately, so I'm glad for the distraction. But you are Rich Ross. You are bass player for the Freddie Jones Band.
Correct.
And so one of the things, and for people that are out there and have are of a certain age, that is that an official hearkening back to the Mystery Machine on Scooby-Doo?
You know, people do ask that. It's not. It was just a made-up name. You know, in a band practice space, young kids, and our singer Marty thought he was going to call the band Fred. And then he's like, how about Freddie Jones? And maybe in the back of his mind,
something subconsciously,
he wanted to call it something with no one in the band.
Got it. Well, in any event, it's a great band. So you guys did alt rock.
I mean, yeah, the band has changed so much in 30 years. It was definitely more of the Dave Matthews vibe. Back then we toured with those bands, Dave Matthews, Hootie, all those bands. The band was on Capricorn, from
Excuse
Nashville.
me, that's Hootie and the Blowfish?
Correct, yeah. Hootie
you can't
and
discount the Blowfish, man.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
They need their props. But it over the years it's evolved into what you heard on the new In a Daydream, which is more like YouTube driven rock.
It is. It's ethereal, at least this particular song. So the whole point of this interview is this song. My audio's up. Now, because we stream, we can't play it on the stream, but it's a great song. And but it's on
the song
radio,
was the number
obviously.
one song.
Was it?
Oh, yeah.
Back in the 90s?
Yeah, for sure. I think it was Hot 100 was 26 and number one AAA. And I mean, for a long time, the band's had a ton of big songs.
Oh, yeah. And Freddie Jones Band. And so for people that know alt rock, I mean, you know this band. I'm going to be honest. I'm like a Journey, Bryan Adams, Chicago kind of a guy.
Same here.
Are you really?
Yes, of course. I know all those guys. I mean, yeah, we've come up in this music scene. We're coworkers with these folks.
Well, one of the things, if we have time, you are also known as somebody who is very savvy in the music business. So I'm going to want to talk a little bit about that too.
Of course.
If we have time. But real quick. So that song, in a Daydream, was chosen as the official wake-up music for the Artemis II mission, day 3. So literally the astronauts, this was the first thing that they heard.
Yeah, April 3rd.
But the crazy thing is, like, you guys didn't even know.
No.
So tell the story.
Okay, I was sitting at lunch. I moved to Nashville. I'm living right down the street from here. And our singer lives in L.A. I'm sitting at lunch and I get a text message. It says, man, it's so cool that you guys are being played in space. In a Daydream's being played up there. And then I ignored it. It was a number I didn't know. And I got another one. And then I got another one. And then somebody sent me a NASA tweet. And I text our singer and I said, can you believe this? And he said, my phone's blowing up and it never blows up.
That's amazing.
It was huge news that day for some reason. Out of all the bands in 10 days or whatever that were played, for some reason, our band got worldwide news. And we think maybe because it was Good Friday, it was the 3rd, it was the first day that they were really up in space, and the tension of the takeoff and everything was gone. And
well, I think it was. You're right. It was one of the first days that they were like up there, and so I think people were really beginning to see images from Artemis. And so, from that high up, and it was just, it was a really big news story.
Yeah.
That's number one. But, number two, it's a great song. I will tell you that we did election coverage last night. So this was the first segment that I prepped this morning. And I have now listened to this song probably 20 times. Because it is such a great song.
It's one of those songs that's very addicting, and it's definitely the number one reason people come to see the band. I mean, it's that song for us.
1993.
Correct.
Now, with the way the world and music is today, I would be willing to bet now this song, because they used it for a wake-up song for Artemis II, Mission Day 3, have you seen like this huge resurgence?
We've seen quite a resurgence. It's been such a big deal for us because we are independent now. We're not on a label. We don't have, big management. I actually do it. A mentor of mine who worked with Rob Thomas and Matchbox 20 Camp, he kind of has helped me over the years manage the band. He taught me to do it. So that way we could keep going. The band went away for years. Mm-hmm. The past 11 years, we've been really digging in and trying to play. And this happened, and Marty and I were shocked. We didn't even know what to do. I mean, but by Monday, that happened on a Friday. By Monday, I had already booked studio time to redo the song, which is out now. It's called Artemis. It's the Artemis II version of In a Daydream, and we call it Reimagined. And it's how we play the song now. So we wanted to attach something to that historical moment.
And if you want to see, because it's incredible, the video on YouTube, because you've got images of space and all that kind of, so it is incredible.
We did it all in a week after that happened. We didn't even know who played us, how we got played, nothing. We just flew around the country, shot the video, which is on freddiejonesband.net, which is our website. The video, the new song, everything's on there.
DDY? FREDDY?
Yep.
Freddie Jones?
Yep.
Okay. So did you ever figure out how the song was chosen?
So, this is the funny part of this story. Our singer, Marty Lloyd, who founded the band, he and I joke around. I'll send him a text that says, "You're never going to believe this." And then something crazy comes up. But one morning, I wake up and I open the Freddie Jones Band Instagram, and there is a message from Astro Reed. And it says, "Love the new version of In a Daydream." And I thought we were being catfished. And I look, it's really him. And I hit him back.
Wiseman?
Yes, Commander Reed Wiseman.
Commander Reed Wiseman.
And I took a screenshot of it. And of course, I send Marty, "Hey, you're never going to believe this." And I send him this. And then next thing you know, I'm full-blown texting with this guy. We get in a group chat. We have a Freddie in Space group chat with he and I and Marty. And we just started talking. He started telling the story about selecting the song and just how much the song meant to him and how much he loved the new version. And he thought it was so appropriate to attach it to that. I mean, this is all stuff we didn't know if we should even do a new version. You know, we were like, you know, the song's actually got live versions out and acoustic, and we did it. And honestly, it's been the biggest thing that we've done. And it puts that song in the spot in history right now.
It does.
So we do have all these people. We've got a documentary reaching out to us. We're working on some partnerships with some companies. I mean, it's been the biggest the band has been in a while.
Rich Ross, bass player for the Freddie Jones Band. So how does the original version differ from the new version? And were you a little worried about sort of messing with the band's legacy? Because the original version was back in 1993. I'm not a musician, but I just wonder if there's a worry of,
Valid question.
If it's not broken, don't fix it.
The great thing about the original version, the band was in such a young state, and there was such an innocence back then. It was like guys going in fresh, didn't really know that the band was going to be successful. The producer on that song, Justin Niebank, has gone on to be, that was his first #1 song. He lives here in Nashville. He has gone on to be a huge, huge music producer for so many Taylor Swift. I mean, you name it. He's won Grammys, and
you guys were his first #1.
Yes, and he and our singer have maintained this friendship. He and Marty, they've been friends, dear friends for.
Did he come back and produce this version?
You know what? We thought about asking him. Everything happened so fast that we just had to get it done. And this Justin's a guy with a plate full of work. And so we literally shot that video and we did the song within 10 days of the Artemis happening. And it was being mixed. And, I'm so proud of the song because it's where the band is now in time. In 1993, when you listen to that, that's where the band is then. And it's a really good thing for people to listen to and go, wow, this is Freddie Jones Band 2026.
Well, you were not in the original band. You've been in the band for about 15 years, and you're just so people know, because I'm like a really bad bass player. But you play like a 5-string, and I this is gonna sound lame, but like you got a really good groove.
Thank
you. I really like it.
I grew up on R&B. I mean, my mom listened to country. She listened to Stevie Wonder. She listened to Chicago.
Right.
That's what I grew up on, and I've always been fascinated with the bass guitar.
Well, you used to tour and work with Phil Vassar.
Of course.
And Josh
Phil's
Grayson.
a dear friend. And I moved here. Freddie Jones Band broke up for years. And I was in a band called The Samples in the 90s. A very popular band. And which, ironically, they're playing City Winery tomorrow night. We're going. And that band kind of catapulted my career, and that's how I met Marty.
Okay.
And then when Marty was getting the band going again, working with Justin on the Never Change album, about 13 years ago, they reached out to me. And I said no at first, but then I changed my mind. And, You know, it's been an awesome journey.
Life changer.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, Marty and I, we just go out and have fun. Now that we don't have the label or any management telling us what to do, I mean, we'll go out on these we do the Nashville trips, a couple days, fly out. Sometimes we stay an extra day. You want to stay an extra day? You want to go here? Should we go down to Bend, Oregon? You know, we make it fun, and it's been a true blessing to do this, especially in your 50s playing music. You kidding me?
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty amazing.
Well, there's a lot of really good out-of-work musicians, sadly. So.
You know, and Nashville has some statistics that I heard that are just mind-blowing. But yes, the musician is the most underpaid, you know, profession that you can think of.
So then you guys go off and you do... You haven't worked in radio.
Oh.
Sorry.
That's next.
Yeah, moving right along. So then you guys are doing a gig, and who shows up at your gig but Reed Weissman?
Yeah, he comes out, and, you know, this story keeps blossoming into something bigger. I mean, we had worldwide press. Our first call was from the BBC calling my cell phone.
Yeah.
Asking for an interview. I'm like, why are you calling me? They're like, you manage a band? Oh, yeah, I do. Like, I thought it was a joke.
Yeah.
And so then every time something happens, Reed, you know, we become close with him. And he says, yeah, I want to come out to this show. And he comes out, and it was so surreal and so special. And no one in the room knew. And then right before the song, we started talking about it, and we brought him up on stage. It was one of the most special moments I've ever had in my music career. And on top of that, I don't know if you know Admiral McCraven. He's the guy that does the speech about making your bed in the morning when he's...
Yes, okay.
This dude is rocking out to my right.
No way.
Yes, I'm like,
That's
what
awesome.
is going on?
Yeah.
This is so cool. So, and it's funny, I recognized him, but I didn't place it till afterwards. Somebody said, you know who that was sitting over there? I was like, you know, he looked familiar. He's singing all the words. And I was like, this is crazy.
Yeah.
You know? So, you know, we had a great night with Reed, and we actually have more Artemis stuff coming up that's going to be really big for the band. They're
Really?
doing documentaries. They're doing,
Okay.
yeah, we're trying to work, you know.
Well, you have
obviously.
I would say that you have, even though the band had its big success in the 90s, but you've, in my opinion, says the talk radio guy, you have a contemporary sound. And so
Yeah.
the new version of the song, I'm assuming you've sort of, I don't know, done something different to
just how
make
we
it more
play.
modern?
No,
or-
we just play it that way, and technology, and you know,
Technology has sort of changed since the 90s.
I mean, the guitar parts in the song are very well known. The lyrics are very famous. I mean, John Mayer talks about the band on his radio station before he plays the song about how the guitar influenced him, and he was a guy that Marty was talking to into the early 2000s about playing some shows.
So
it's like
I'm a big Rush fan.
Yeah.
Like I like bass players. So like Geddy Lee, my all-time favorite musician. So what I like about the song is the music of it. I mean, the vocals are great too, don't get me wrong, but I like the music. I like the music sounds very inspirational, which is obviously why Reed Weissman liked it so much. So were you interested in the whole Artemis, going up to space and all that? Were you aware of that? Because some people had no idea what was going on.
I mean, it's after the fact, it's embarrassing to say a little bit, but we didn't even know. I thought I was being pranked by someone, and it was April Fool's, a couple days before. Kind of, our singer and I, Marty, joke that we thought it was an April Fool's joke, but no, I didn't know. But then I started following it, and man, when that thing was coming down, and it was on fire, I was nervous.
So when will all of these documentaries and these other things start coming out?
Yeah, probably early next year. We just started getting the calls on them for the music. They're going to use a new version. And since it's attached to that moment, and that's something, looking back now, I was so grateful that we did. I mean, I think in life a lot, we hesitate and we don't just do things. And look, I could have hesitated. And I had a friend in my corner that said, "You're doing this." And it kind of because it's a lot of money to do this. I mean, it's, so it's something that we'll have the rest of our lives and, get to share with the grandkids, which are already here. We have big.
Yeah. So who wrote the song originally? And if I may be nosy, is that like the music industry today? Is that such a huge windfall now for the person who wrote the song?
I mean, he gets publishing. Marty, our singer, wrote the song when he was 20.
Yeah.
I mean, he had his buddy's guitar looking out the window, wishing, it was a better day. And that song flowed out. And the irony of that is just the astronauts listening to the song and Reed Wiseman in the video looking back at the Earth.
Yeah. Well, and that's part of the video that is online.
Yes.
The incredible images and everything. Okay, so real quickly, you're known for being, obviously, again, a great bass player. Huge advocate, though, I read online, for independent artists. The music industry clearly has been rough, of course.
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about your journey from being a bass player to now managing the band. And I guess, have you done some mentoring of other bands too?
Of course. I mean, being of service, I think, is part of my journey. I went through a whole sobriety thing, and 14 years ago, changed my life. And I became friends. We're close with Rob Thomas and the Matchbox 20 guys. I became friends with the guy named Ed Baker that worked for Rob at the time in management touring. And he was the guy that kind of, like this friend that pushed us to do this recording. He pushed me to manage the band on my own and stop using other people, because the reality is a lot of bands are having to carry, you notice a lot of people aren't touring. The expenses are so high.
Yeah.
When you're paying everybody out all the money, no one's going to go out and play.
Yep.
So we had to kind of learn how to keep it in house, and I just basically took it over with lucky to have mentors like that in my life, and somebody that loves and believes in the band.
Mm-hmm.
And we're close with so many bands. We have ties with everybody. The band Chicago, which you mentioned, I just saw them at the Opry.
Okay,
it's real
good.
cool to sing. Yeah, a childhood friend of mine is singing for them now.
I was going to ask, I don't even know who's singing at this point.
Eric Baines,
Eric
bass
Baines,
player.
okay.
Yeah. And they just hired a new guy, Rudy Cardenas, who just took the place of someone else. And Wally has been a friend of mine, the drummer, for years. And his brother plays, with Zach Brown. So the cool thing is you're in this music industry, and it's this web of people. Awesome people.
One of my favorite things to do is talk to people who have moved to Nashville, right? I'm not a native. I'm from California. I moved here 12 years ago for this job. So what made you decide you wanted to move to Nashville, and where did you come from before this?
Well, I'm from here, so originally.
So you're born in Tennessee?
Yes, I was born in Tennessee, and I lived here 13 years ago. When I came out, I was doing all the fill-in gigs right before Freddie Jones Band, playing with Phil Vassar and those guys, and filling in for different things. And in my sobriety, it's just kind of the route that I wanted to go. I wanted to kind of live some unfinished dreams. And I'll tell you what, I never imagined it would be all this.
I got to tell you, it's such an inspiring story, especially for people. I didn't know about the sobriety part. So for people that are struggling with that, I come from a long line of alcoholics. So
we all do.
Yeah. Tell you what.
That's how you calm down in the 70s.
so now here you are at the City Winery on September 27th. So talk about that gig. Because my buddy and how this whole thing happened, I got a friend, Ross, out in Colorado, and he raves about you guys, and he wanted to do this, wanted me to do this interview. So talk about the concert at the City Winery. I've been there many times. It's a great place.
It's a beautiful place. We're getting an older fan base now, our age, and the City Winery just offers a comfortable place to watch a show and eat and hang out.
I want to make sure you did just call me old. I want to make sure that.
I said older.
Okay.
We're older than the, I don't know who you want to be lumped in with these days. I mean, this is a political station. I mean, the younger kids have different titles as well.
Boy, they should. Actually, you know what? I love being almost 60, and it's all good. So September 27th, the City Winery. Is it a full show? Like 90 minutes,
we're doing
2
a full
hours?
show. We do 90 minutes. It'll be an early show, and we usually play at 8:00. And I live right down the street from there. I love being here. I moved here from LA and Denver. Those were my two.
Me too. I was from LA and I lived in Denver.
Yeah.
So
same.
Nashville is just so far and above LA and California and Colorado.
The music spirit's in the air. I like going to the coffee shop and seeing Keith Urban. I like having the vibe of music in the air,
Yep.
you know, and that keeps me going, I think. That's why I came back here. I came back here for that. And, you know, I look right at the stadium and the river. I've got a beautiful place, and it just is comfortable for me.
Congratulations on the sobriety and the
you.
success. Will you come back when the documentary is out, and we can redo this interview and we can talk about the documentary?
We will, and I'm going to bring Marty in here too, whether you have us on or not when we're in town.
Bring your guitars and,
Yeah.
and do that whole thing?
Yeah, we'll do it.
Okay, very cool, and very much appreciated. The website, Rich Ross, bass player for the Freddie Jones Band.
Yep.
And just an incredible story. The website is?
FreddieJonesBand.net, yep.
All right, very good. And I'll look forward to seeing you again. I may be able to go to that show on the 27th.
Come hang out with us. We'll bring you back.
Well, you know, I'm older, so I may have to leave midway through to go take a nap or something.
Well, that's
but-
why we start earlier, so you can be in bed by 10.
You know what? You piqued my interest at that. All right, very good. Thank you very much, Rich. And it's time to. We didn't even do traffic or anything. Great conversation. Thank you for coming here.
Likewise. Thank you.
Let's see here, Joan. What do you got coming up in the news?
Yeah, the Titans are changing everything. First, it was their logo and uniforms. Now they're a mascot, too. Details coming up at 8:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Dan Mattis here for my friends at the Covered Patio. Warmer weather means you want to spend more time outside. Now, if you want to add more living space to your home, think about building or upgrading your patio. They've got motorized screens so that you can easily keep the patio open when you want some sun and closed when you want some shade. So your back screened-in porch becomes a lot more enjoyable. Now, they've got a ton of outdoor living options with motorized screens and patio covers and custom wooden decks and outdoor structures. They've got a ton of options with styles for every budget. Now, the Covered Patio, they are dedicated to fair prices and customized solutions for your specific home and space. So enjoy your home a lot more with an incredible patio upgrade from the Covered Patio. Reach out to them. Tell them Dan told you to reach out. 615-695-2407, 615-695-2407, thecoveredpatio.com. $8:29, Nashville's Morning News on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Window Nation. Listen, if you need new windows, this is a great investment in your home. You've got to check out my friends at Window Nation, and right now is the best possible time to do it. The pros at Window Nation, they can help you get new energy-efficient windows at a great price, 50% off all new window styles, and you could get zero down payment and no payments or interest for 2 years. Now, the Window Nation, they've got an A-plus rating from the Better Business Bureau, 96% customer satisfaction rating, and over 45,000 five-star reviews. Window Nation is a proud partner of the Wounded Warrior Project. Find them online. Tell them Dan Mattis told you to reach out. WindowNation.com. That's WindowNation.com.
Good morning, 8:32. I'm Joan Jones with your top stories. There's news out of Austin, Texas this morning that the Texas Children's Hospital has just been ordered to create the first detransition clinic to reverse gender transition care for children. And Fox News is reporting that the settlement created by AG Ken Paxton says that clinic will also have to be free. The Tennessee Titans will have a new look, and now that their mascot does too. T-Rax makeover includes a more defined black mask, gray fur instead of the old brown, and his ears are more rounded off. His tail is fluffier too. You can check out the changes on my X account at Joan Jones WTN.
Whoa.
Yeah.
What did you just do? What mascot? The Tennessee Titans have a mascot called the T-Rax?
It's T-Rack. It's a raccoon, the state.
Oh, it's a raccoon.
Animal. Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like a T-Rex, like a dinosaur, and I was going to say fake news because dinosaurs didn't have fur, at least not T-Rexes.
Wow. You got me, didn't you, Dan?
T-Rexes.
They had feathers.
Dan doesn't think dinosaurs are real.
I do think dinosaurs. Why you don't?
He thinks they're real. He lived with them.
Don't come in here and start. Okay, Sam, screw you, and don't try to troll me. Hand.
What? I'm just trying to bring the off-air conversations on air.
Dinosaurs were real. I saw Jurassic Park.
Okay.
Wait, wasn't that a documentary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whatever. Moving on. I'm sorry. Listen, I'm tired. Go ahead, Joan. Finish.
Yeah. Oh, I can go on now?
Yeah, please.
Please continue, Joan.
Yeah. Money News brought to you by Beacon Capital Management, online at beaconcm.com. And stocks trading now on Wall Street, and it looks like we've got a mixed bag here. The Dow Jones Industrials right now down 44, but the NASDAQ gaining 267 at the start here, and the S&P 500 index is up 27
Hey, Joan,
points.
how much does a pet dinosaur cost?
Dan, I haven't looked one up recently, but I will go and I'll go and find that out for you.
Chris told me to do that, by the way, just so.
Oh my gosh, you're talking about fake news.
Thank you, Joan.
You're welcome.
All right, it is 8:35. I don't actually think Joan was done, but you
no,
know,
I'm done.
She is now.
I am now.
Joan's like, oh no, I'm done. All right, tomorrow, big day at the Glock store, Chris, as you know.
Big hype.
Osight Optic Day at the Glock store. Now, of course, these Osight optics, they're amazing, designed to improve your sight and shooting. So tomorrow, the big event going on from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. Osight is going to be there at the Glock store, so you can check them out for yourself. You can work with the people that developed this product, and again, it is incredible. Also, they've got some great giveaways and food trucks going on as well. One of the great things you can always say about the Glock store is that they've got great events. And whenever they do an event, they always do it up big time. So tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., it is the Osight Optic Day at the Glock store. Again, you can meet with the developers, and they're going to teach you the best way to utilize it to improve your shooting, improving your sight. And this is going to be a great time. Again, they do put on great events at the Glock store. By the way, if you buy a box of Burrow bullets, you get to shoot the all-new Osight Optic MOs for free, no range fees, and the cost of those bullets can be applied to the purchase of the new Osight SEMOs. So again, this is going to be a great time tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. at the Glock store. They're also going to have exclusive in-store deals on the Osight Optic as well. So you want to check it out, glockstore.com, shoot270.com. They're going to have Osight swag, food trucks, and a whole lot more. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m., glockstore.com, shoot270.com, minutes from the airport and worth the drive from anywhere. Dan Mandis here, lifelong dog owner, and I've seen all kinds of behaviors, typically bad, with my animals, and I bet that you have too. So if you've got a dog that needs some behavior training, my buddy Jeff and his crew at Ridgeside Canine Nashville, they can help you. I do call them the dog whisperers. They've helped thousands of dogs and their owners over the last 25 years solve those behavioral issues. They can help you as well. So if you've got a dog that has aggression issues, potty problems, anxiety, basic obedience, they can help you help your dog with just about anything. So, one of the things that I do love about Ridgeside Canine Nashville, they do believe that owner education just as important as dog training. And long-term success with your dog begins with you and Ridgeside Canine Nashville. They've got a lifetime support guarantee. They are there for you 24/7. So check them out today, rsk9nash.com. That's rsk9nash.com, the letter K, the number 9. Ridgeside Canine Nashville, veteran-owned, proven results, and guaranteed for life.
Okay. Got a problem in the West End area this morning. It's a crash at West End Avenue and 31st, and the delays are starting now to get a little better on 24, on 40, and on 65. Traffic every 10 minutes every morning on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
So is it Elvis Presley, right?
I thought it was Gucci Mane.
No, this is Elvis Presley.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Can you fact check that?
Let me
It
just
might be Kevin Gates.
mark my
I thought
words.
it was Gucci.
Elvis Presley is just a passing fad.
Do you think so?
That's it. He's just a passing fad.
I'm sure that's what he thought when he was seated on that throne.
They didn't play him on No Spaceship.
No, they sure didn't. I love that interview that I just did with the bass player from the Freddie Jones band, Rich Ross.
I thought that was very cool.
Yeah, I like to veer away from politics every once in a while, and he's a great guy. The sobriety thing caught me by surprise. You can do all the research that you want in interviews, but the thing I like about people like him is that he just threw it out there that he's been sober 14 years. I didn't see that in any of the research that I did for this interview, and I did a lot.
It's a hell of a blessing to have sobriety for that many years. Sobriety is a hell of a drug.
Yes, I see what you're saying. I've never been a drunk.
He's quoting Rick James.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, but I'm also I'm a big fan of sobriety.
And Rick James?
Yes. F your coach.
F it.
You know, my mom said to me one time is the funniest damn thing. Because I was literally, when I say that I was like the only one in my family that was not a drunk, I actually mean that. It was like me and my dad. My dad didn't like alcohol either because his first wife, my mom, was a drunk. So my mom said, and I'm going to try to paraphrase it because I can't do it the way that she did it. But basically, she had been a drunk for years and years and years. And she said that all the drinking was worth it because when she got sober, it gave her an incredible new perspective on life.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
100%.
Okay, so it makes sense to you.
Yeah.
Wow.
So she said, Danny, you should have become an alcoholic. You don't know what you're missing. It's okay, Mom. It's okay, Mom. Thanks. Anyway,
That's hilarious.
Yeah, she was a hoot. Anyway, what do we got going on? So that was a great time last night.
We had an awesome time. I mean,
By the way, did you get ahead?
Yes. So who was it that printed those for us? One of the guys.
I don't know. And for people listening on the radio,
it's not what he meant. Let me just clarify.
So they made us a man made us little. What would you call this? It's a
bust.
It's a bust. Thank you. I got it right earlier, but I'm really tired. So this bust, and it's a bust of me, and we all got one. And so I made the joke earlier that even in my bust, I look tired. So
I'm pretty sure he used the marquee cover shot too.
The marquee
from that we have on all the podcast of your shot for the show.
See, I think I look like
jacket.
Glenn Jacobs in this.
Dan Mandis or bust.
Good. And by the way, I like this guy better than whoever came up with our graphic for the event last night because they used AI and from whatever, but they put like 20 extra pounds on me and glasses.
They made you look like Dave Ramsey without a goatee.
I don't know what they were, and it's like, no.
It was Dan Ramsey.
And here's the funny thing.
Dave Mandis.
Here's the funny thing. I wish I had the money. So, but here's the funny thing.
All you got to do is really buckle down and start eating top ramen.
I've already done that. Didn't work. So, but here's the funny thing is that even after we complained that it didn't look like me, we had almost an entire like on-air campaign. It doesn't look like Mandis. I arrive and it's still the same graphic.
That was my favorite part.
Was it?
And part of me wonders if there was a big meeting down in the office, down the hall, in the shadowy office, if they said they'll keep talking about it if we don't change it.
Exactly right. And you know what happened? We kept talking about it because that's just what we do.
So I got home and I took my little my Chris Hand bust and I showed my wife and she's like, "That's crazy." Then I walked over and I put it on the mantle. She said to me, "Are you really putting that on the mantle?" And I said, "Where else would I put it?" So,
my head is actually very smooth on my bust, and but you know what? I'm going to put mine on my mantle. Amy, if you're listening, can I put this on our mantle?
See, this is where you go wrong. You don't ask for permission.
Oh, I ask for permission.
You just got to do it, Dan.
See,
you got to take ownership.
Okay, but then you know what's going to happen?
It'll disappear.
No. That's not what will happen, Joan. What will happen is mysteriously, Riker will accidentally throw like one of those big A Legos, and it'll accidentally hit my bust, and it'll fall onto the floor, and it'll break.
It'll be like the leg lamp in the Christmas Story.
That's exactly what it'll be, actually.
This is a major award. How could you guys treat this way?
You know what Amy would say? The sad thing is it's a reminder of how good looking you could be with this bust. Moving right along. Anyway, so
it's going on the mantle.
Great. Yeah, you know what? I will. I'll put it on the mantle.
You have to.
And then we also the things that we get at our events. So I'm holding in my hand for people listening on the radio the golden shovel.
Swing.
So the golden shovel. This goes back to a conversation we had a long time ago where we were kind of like, why does Dr. Kevin Mitchell give the Murphy Show literally everything?
Back the truck up. This wasn't a we thing. This was a Dan thing. Dan was wondering why he doesn't get any fun things like a big trophy or a championship belt. Let the record
chalice
let the
or
record
crown.
Let the record show that Chris Hand has also not gotten any of these things.
Okay.
But only one radio host made enough of a stink about it that he received something from a listener.
And it's the golden shovel. So it's literally a shovel that is painted gold.
No, I think that's pure.
Is it pure?
I
could
yes.
retire. I could retire.
Why
if
don't
it
you
was
buy
pure.
it and find out?
I would put it in a safe.
And so the funny thing though is it's the context of the conversation was I needed a shovel because I'm always like digging my own grave. Digging my own hole.
Yes.
It's how the whole thing kind of, and I didn't even remember the conversation, but apparently this guy did, and I so appreciate my golden shovel.
We love it.
I will also put it on the mantle.
I feel like you could get away with the bust a little bit more than the shovel. There's a lot less real estate that's going to be taken up by the
Why don't you combo it? You put the shovel on hooks, right? So it lays flat and level, and then make sure the spade of the shovel's pointed up, and then rest the bust on the spade.
I mean, you're going to need a trophy wall at some point with the shovel, the bust, the Marconi.
Well,
you could
Chris,
probably put it in your studio, where nobody else is seeing it.
Are you about to pull out your Marconi? You just keep it with you?
No, but I actually.
Because Dan's going in his backpack.
No, I actually do have a little trophy thing. I have all my trophies on there.
Yeah, you need to do the bust and you need the shovel.
Mm-hmm. I did actually get a coin too. I don't know.
Challenge coin?
It's you know what it's a United States Marine Corps anniversary coin.
That's cool.
I don't know what you call it.
Challenge coin.
Is that a challenge coin?
Challenge coin. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And
I got one too, but I got the one from Santa Claus.
I've gotten a Santa Claus challenge coin too.
Okay.
Did you?
Yep.
It's very cool.
Did the challenge come with it?
Yeah, please be good all year.
So what? Okay, so help me understand. I don't understand what it.
challenging.
I'm a little slow this morning. What exactly is a challenge coin? Like, what is there a challenge with it? Like, do I have to do 50 push-ups like a Marine?
Exactly.
Because that ain't gonna happen. I'm just gonna tell you that's not gonna happen.
Well, you have failed the challenge.
But I mean,
day one of having it.
Well, you know what the biggest challenge is? Getting it out of the bag. I can't get it out of the bag.
Therefore, building morale, recognizing special achievements, and playing the traditional coin check game.
Yeah. They trace back to World War I, legends of a wealthy lieutenant who gave bronze medallions to his squadron. When a downed pilot used his saved coin to prove his identity and escape execution, it sparked a lasting military tradition.
I mean, this is really. Do you want to see it? Do you want to see my coin? You can
Things
go
that
ahead.
sound dirty but aren't.
Joan Jones. Anyway, such a great time last night talking
That's
to
very
people.
cool.
Did you hear what happened to me, by the way, Chris, last night? Give me my coin back. Did you hear what happened?
What? I wasn't gonna keep it.
You know how I get. At end of the show, I'm running out, and I'll forget my coin. Did you hear what happened to me last night?
What happened, Dan?
So, I told the story at 5:30, but so I'm making my way around the room, and I find 3 people, and as I do, I say thanks for coming out. Really appreciate it. I'm Dan. I host the morning show, and it looked like I farted in their elevator.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you happen to fart?
No, I was very careful not to in those situations. So I'm like, and they looked at me like stone-faced. And I didn't know really like what to do. I thought maybe I was being punked. I didn't know. It's like, I know that I didn't want to be hugged, but I wanted to be acknowledged. So.
See, I thought you were going to talk about someone trying to kiss your head.
Well, there's that too. And so, yeah, and I still don't really understand. There's like some other political event that was there.
Yeah, Kenneth Barrett's
sheriff
big sheriff.
thing. Yeah, his party.
I don't know, because he was going to win, so they
Yeah,
were ready
everybody
to
knew.
celebrate.
But anyway, so maybe they were there for that and not for us. And they didn't know who I was, which is fine. I don't care. But it was just like, they wouldn't even crack a smile. So I just thought, I don't know. So it was really weird. So then I was shy to go back into the crowd last night, so I stayed up on the stage.
Kenneth Barrett's a really good guy.
He is a good guy.
But I have a bit of a bone to pick.
Oh.
Because when he was originally running, I said, listen, Kenneth, you got my vote as long as you deputize me the moment that you win. And last night came and went, and I have yet to be deputized. I want a badge and a gun. And
you know what? I can go to like Toys R Us or something and get your little plastic badge, and I'm pretty sure you got a gun.
It's not. Well, I have my guns, but I want a new one because you can never have too many, and I want a badge. And I'm going to be really upset until that happens.
If you're deputized as a deputy, do you get a badge?
I would assume so. I thought that was part of the deal. I sell my votes. So
is that what you do? You sell your votes?
I do.
I'll vote for you as long as you deputize me?
As long as you deputize me. And they said, I can make that happen, and then it's yet to happen. Day one of Chris Hand not being deputized.
By the way, this is Ray. Ray, I love you. So are you going to go over any results from yesterday or last night? We've been doing this all day long.
All morning. Yeah.
Oh, my
all
gosh.
Morning
Could
long.
you cover some news? What's gotten into you, Dan?
You know
How
what?
many percentage points did Andy Ogles lose by, Dan?
So, in case you don't know, Marsha Blackburn won the governor's race. She got 43.4% of the vote. John Rose, 32.9% of the vote. Monty Fritz got 23.4% of the vote. And Andy Ogles lost in his primary race.
That was the biggest shocker.
That was the biggest shocker.
Oh, you guys, come on. That wasn't shocking.
You don't think so?
I do not.
Really?
Really?
No, I think that there were. Do you read the comments on the text line and on YouTube? I think that people were, and I love Andy Ogles, don't get me wrong, but they saw him introducing legislation that would, change the name of the airport or whatever, but they want their problem solved. They want, for him to do things that are meaningful, and I don't think he did.
I was still surprised. To me, that was a shocker. It was because of the Donald Trump endorsement.
Well, there is that, yeah.
Yeah, so I was not surprised that Marsha Blackburn won. I just wasn't. I think that the big shocker was was Ogles, and now I'm worried about the 5th, and I like Charlie Hatcher, and I hope that he'll have a great campaign. We need a lot of money to come into this district, super PAC or otherwise, because you know that the Democrats are going to be bringing it.
After last night, I think that we can isolate what are probably going to be the two most entertaining House races from now until the general. It's going to be District 5, which is Hatcher, Mulder. And I mean, Chaz, what a liberal name.
Yeah, it didn't get any more lib than that.
It really doesn't. And then District 9, which will be Brent Taylor versus Justin Pearson. And when you look at the vote totals in those races, it's pretty well, District 5, Charlie Hatcher got like double the votes than Chaz Mulder got, but all those vote blue no matter who guys are going to get behind Chaz Mulder.
Of course.
But Pearson got as many votes as Brent Taylor did.
Yeah.
So those races are going to be very, very interesting.
Was it before the redistricting? Was it 9-1? How many? No, was it eight conservative districts and then 1 Democrat? Is that what it was?
Yes.
So my worry is, and I talked about this earlier, my worry is we have now created a situation where we could end up with
2 Democrats instead of 1.
2 Democrats instead of 1, and so it'd be 7-2.
That would absolutely blow up in their
face. Can you imagine if that happens?
Yeah.
And
I mean,
that's going to be embarrassing.
But
that is going to be embarrassing.
On the bright side, the Democrats are broke and don't know how to manage their money. So will they have enough to get over the hump when the super PACs and the Republican side are flush with cash?
Well, that's the thing, because the Republicans have a lot of money. The Republicans have a lot of money, and the Democrats don't have as much. So
90% of the congressional races are won by the candidate with the most money.
Yep.
President Trump this morning, in that interview he did with, Punchbowl, said he has $800 million. Does that sound right, that he can spend any way that he wants?
$800 million?
Is it that much? He had a lot of money.
And I know Elon is he's reviving his America PAC and dumping $100 million into it.
Yeah. By the way, the shovel was made by Scrappy.
Yeah, Ron and Scrappy.
You know Ron and Scrappy?
Yes.
So
they're great.
They are awesome. So yes, I got
a lot of hugs last night from Scrappy.
Scrappy's awesome.
Yeah.
Scrappy's the one person that I actually like to get hugged by. So I'm a big Scrappy fan. And so I don't know. If I tell my wife that Scrappy made the golden shovel,
then you don't even have to ask for permission on the mantle. You use the shovel to clear it off and then just place it up there.
I could threaten physical violence.
It is a shovel.
Listen, if you don't allow me to put Scrappy's shovel up on the mantle, I'll just hit you with it.
She'll be digging a grave for you with that shovel.
Nothing gets stuff done like the threats of assault, you know?
I've always said that.
If I've learned anything from being married all these years,
the problem is I'm not much of an assaulter, so
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Anyway, moving right along. Real quick, ask me how tired I am.
How tired are you, Dan?
I almost called Joan Amy.
Oh my God.
That's how tired I am.
That would not be good.
I haven't slept. Joan, what's coming up in the news?
Jamie.
What's my name? We'll tell you why the nomination of Todd Blanche is getting a little bit murky. It's coming up at 9 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
8:56, Dan Mandis here. DT McCall's. They've been helping out Tennesseans for over 100 years with fair prices, outstanding customer service. Now, right now, they've got great deals on all things electronics, appliances, furniture, lawn and garden, and a whole lot more. So DT McCall's, they've been saving Middle Tennesseans money for over 100 years, 4 generations of treating people right with the focus on savings and, yes, customer service as well. First thing I do when I realize I need something is I go to dtmccalls.com or head on over to that brick and mortar store. 5 locations across Middle Tennessee: Carthage, Cookeville, Lebanon, Lafayette, and Franklin. Always online, dtmccalls.com. Dan Mandis here for USS, United Structural Systems. You know, whether we're talking about waterproofing or concrete leveling or foundation repair, my friends at USS, they are the absolute best here in Middle Tennessee. Now, these types of issues, waterproofing, concrete leveling, foundation repair, well, they don't get better over time. They get worse without the proper fix. You know that, they know that, and they are here to help because right now they've got some great financing options for you for a limited time. But listen to this. You can get a 10% discount when you pay in full or fix it now, pay it later with 18 months, no payment and no interest. Or you can choose the 36 months, no interest with low payment options for qualified homeowners. Check them out today. USS United Structural Systems, 615-488-7855, 615-488-7855, USSTN.com.
Nine o'clock, I'm Joan Jones with your top stories happening this morning. Republican Senator Lisa Murkowski says she is going to vote against Todd Blanche for Attorney General, further endangering that confirmation. Once again, she joins Susan Collins of Maine to oppose the Trump agenda. Now, with Senator Mitch McConnell still in medical recovery, the Democrats are poised to fully vote against it. It would only take one more Republican to kill that nomination. The Trump administration is once again looking to put limits on who can get citizenship at birth in the U.S., with President Trump signing two new executive orders.
Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller